Hey there, it's Julie B. Deep Dives with Doug Hughes and Scarlet Echoes, and we're here for another edition of Storytime with Doug, the book club edition, where we're going to be discussing some of his second novel, The Shaming of the True, which he was kind enough to offer to our community for free via PDF copy. And we've been having a great time dissecting this as the sequel to his first book, The Poor Player. And so we're going to be tonight getting into, I believe it's pages, what was it?
170 to
228.
228.
Yes. 170 to, I think it's just the start of 229 or something like that. Yeah. And yeah, so Doug, how have you been? How's your week been?
Okay, except for this.
Oh
Yeah?
no! What happened?
My right heel's been bugging me for a couple of months. Like, I don't even know what I did to it. One day it was like, I felt like I must have bashed it or something, like I'd bruised the heel. And it never got any better. It's been this way for, like, as I say, a couple of months now. So I finally get in to see my orthopedic surgeon today. And without some imaging, he can't say for sure, but he thinks it's a stress fracture. So they gave me the boot and said, just walk in this for the next 6 weeks till we get you in for your MRI, and then we'll see. So we'll see.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It stinks.
Well,
so it wasn't in,
What?
So what was that?
I was going to say, it's not like I've been doing much biking these days, when it's minus 20 degrees outside. So it's all right.
I was about ready to ask you that. I totally backtracked on that question.
Well, so it wasn't a sudden injury then. It was just like an over time kind of wear and tear thing.
I've been walking around with this for at least a couple of months,
Wow.
But it wasn't getting any better. And I thought I need to get this looked at, find out what it is. So.
Well, it's good that you finally did. So that you don't do any more damage to it and you can heal now. And I mean, it's a good time to do it if you're going to be off your feet. It's a lousy time of year anyway. It's been miserably cold around here too.
I love winter.
Yeah, if it were July, this would not be a good thing. I mean, it's not a good thing anyway, but I'd be really ticked off if it was the middle of the summer.
Oh, I'm sure. Anything else new with you? Anything else going on?
I shot a movie yesterday.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Can you tell us anything about it?
Yeah, totally. It was a student film. This film that I did at the Canadian Film Centre, which is a school that was founded by Norman Jewison. And it's a short. It's literally one scene. It's like 5 minutes long. It's a student project. So, And the kid who wrote it is an actor, but he also he's been doing the screenwriting course there for several months. And occasionally my agent will send me these things and say, are you interested in doing them? Because of course they don't pay you. And I said, well, it's not like I'm doing anything else right now, and this one looks kind of interesting. So I did it, and it went. It was a good day. It was really. I'll be really interested to see the finished product. And if you're interested. The guy who wrote it and was in it with me posted a still shot, production shot on Instagram, and it's on my Instagram as well. So if you want to pop on there, you'll be able to get a look at me in my little king outfit. I was playing a king, and he was playing my son.
Doug, you said you've been in other productions from the same place.
Yeah, I did a movie there, like a short film that actually showed at the Toronto Film Festival many, many years ago. This was, a long time ago. And the woman who directed that is apparently now an instructor at the Canadian Film Centre, which I didn't know. Yeah, and the other cool thing that came out of it was I sent a copy of Starstruck. Well, Julie will know what I'm talking about. It's a screenplay that I sent her. It's this that's based at the Stratford Festival, and I sent it to the director, and she just loved it. Sent me a couple of great notes, and so then last night after I got home, I sent a copy to the producer at Well. Now these people are all students, but there are a lot of industry producers that work at the film center or work with the film center. So I'm just waiting to hear what the producer has to say about it and see if I can kick it up the food chain.
Oh, awesome. Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah. Well, I figured I might as well get something out of the experience other than the experience itself. So there you go.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow. Some positive news, not all negative stuff, so that's good. Have you shot any more auditions recently?
Well, that one.
Yeah.
I had a voiceover audition last week. Those are kind of non-events. They come along every once in a while. It was a commercial, no big deal. It's a very quiet time of year right now. There are a few things coming up. There's a production of Anne of Green Gables that's happening out at the Manitoba Theatre Center in Winnipeg, which I think I'm going to audition for. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to do that. That would be happening this summer if I get it. So we'll see.
Oh, nice. Well, let's say hi to the chat before we get started. JT Moore was first in the chat. Nice to see you. And yes, I agree with Jay. It's too cold. There's too much snow, and there's more on the way. Yeah.
And I took a 2-hour walk in the snow and thought it was really beautiful and saw some deer and some owls.
Oh,
Cool.
well,
I'm
that's
like a
cool.
snow bunny, I guess. A snow bunny, a snow bear.
Yeah. Well, as a kid, I would have felt the same, but no, I'm just a complaining old person, and I don't like winter anymore. I don't like it anymore. Jay says he asked me if I'm going to do a video on the From season 4 episode titles, and is April 19th the legit premiere date? Well, number one, I actually was planning on doing a live stream to discuss the potential leak or release or whatever you want to call it of the episode titles. They're not complete. There are a few missing, but they sure look like they could be From episode titles. So I was planning on doing it before now, but my pain has been spiking out of control, and so the last few days it just wasn't a good time. But I am hoping to do it. It'll probably just be a mini live. Might even be an hour to an hour and a half, depending on how I'm feeling. But yeah, I definitely want to do a live and talk about this. I think the From fandom is chomping at the bit to discuss the show and the fact that it could be coming on April 19th. No, we don't have an actual official announcement yet, but that's what popped up on Google searches now. The premiere date says April 19th, so hopefully it's accurate, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the truth, because I've been hearing April through the rumor mill for a while now. So.
Well, there's no date involved, but I was on IMDb Pro today, and on the From page, they've added, they haven't given any information at all. They've just put in season 4, episode 1, but there's no date. There's nothing beyond that. But I thought, well, someone must have given them permission to at least do that. So,
yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But yeah, that date seems to be the one that keeps popping up. So maybe there's something to it. I don't know.
Yeah, somebody found it on an app. I forget what the name of the app is. It wasn't from Rotten Tomatoes. It wasn't from Google. It was some other TV app that some sleuth found this on. So we'll see. But it's something, the From fandom is starving for crumbs, so we'll chomp on anything that comes our way at this point. So yeah, we'll do a live and we'll dissect the hell out of some episode titles that might not even be real. Why not? And then we'll all laugh about it if it turned out to be fake later.
I was going to say, at least there's something to be had from that, because then you can look back a few weeks later and go, you remember when we thought it was going to be called that?
Right?
It's a long day's journey into larger jackets for Ethan.
Yeah. See how long they can make him look like a little
taller.
kid.
I mean, even taller.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. I think they're gonna have to do a time jump to accommodate that. But anyway, we won't Don't go too far down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Hi with Alice. Nice to see you.
Hi, Shell.
Hi, Amy, Pixie Vine TV. Nice to see you. Amy's been posting some lovely new music on her YouTube channel, Pixie Vine TV. So check that out. Check out her channel. Give her a sub. Help her get that sub count up. And let's see who else is here. Trying to catch up here. Of course, Carl is here in the chat.
Hey, Carl.
And let's see. And we missed you too, Amy. Hello, Bill. Nice to see you. Bill Chill. And Shill Smith 3. Nice to see you too. Welcome. I don't know if I've seen you in our chat before. So always cool to see new names.
Shell and I follow each other on Instagram, and I told her about tonight. So she said she'd come and check it out.
Oh, awesome. Well, welcome. Awesome stuff. So now that we're caught up, why don't we dive into tonight's section of the book? By the way, if anyone listening out there, if you like what you hear as we discuss the book and you haven't yet gotten a copy, you can still email me and I will send you a free PDF copy of Doug's book, The Shaming of the True, and the predecessor to it, the first book in the series, The Poor Player, if you don't have that either. Again, that's JulieBDeepDives@gmail.com if you want to email me for a copy. I'll happily forward that to you. Okay, so we started off, let's see, I think we were on, what was it, 220, it was 228 or 229 that we started?
No, that's where we're going to end. It was 170. We finished on 170.
Yeah.
It was right after, it was the end of the period back when Harry was at the Shakespeare workshop in Oxford. He had just found out that she had been abducted by the Russians. Yes,
I had, okay, so I had scrolled down to the end instead of the beginning. All right, let me get back up to the top here. So
in the present day.
So we picked back up in 2019.
Well, yeah, as close to the present day as we get with this book.
Yes. 2019. Yes. So in the previous section, we had been firmly in the past, and now we're. Are we done with that now? Are we done with that portion of the book where we're okay? So now we're firmly in the
different
present.
from the first book where we kept going back and forth, because in order for this story to work, I kind of had to finish off with Lena in the past before we could move on to this one.
Right.
Because if I had scenes from the present day earlier on in the book, it would spoil the surprise of her being abducted and presumably sent to prison or killed or whatever they were going to do to her. So I thought, no, I just have to hold off until now. And so now we'll be in the present day for 2019 for the rest of the book.
Okay, which is about almost 100 pages more, I think, after the book.
After what we finished today, yeah.
It'll be, I think I saw 323 or something like that. A total
something in that ballpark. So probably 2 more lives.
Yeah. So a little bit shorter than the previous book, but close.
Well, for a good reason, because the difference in length is basically the early part of the first book where we see Harry get introduced and trained and all that stuff. I mean, I had to include that in the first book, which is why it ended up being as long as it was. But we don't have to worry about that anymore. So if I write any sequels, they'll probably be a lot like this one, lengthwise.
Yeah. So okay, so we picked back up in 2019, and so it's a totally different situation now. Harry is no longer actually with CSIS. He's just agreed to work for them just on a one-off mission because he's the perfect man for the job. They're sending him to Russia to reconnect with his old flame, Lena. She's once again sending signs that she wants to defect, and they want to get her out of there. And there's also the issue of Russia meddling in foreign elections, meddling in Canada's elections, and she's in charge of the or she's like in a top I guess a top position at the Internet Research Agency.
She's basically running the place,
Yeah.
I mean, of course, she has superiors above her, but in terms of like the place itself, yeah, she's the one in charge.
Right. So, they're responsible for all kinds of shenanigans, bot farms, and all kinds of manipulation of Canadian elections, and so they want to, take up advantage of this opportunity to get her out of there. She's been sending coded messages to CSIS in the form of Shakespearean passages, and knowing that they would connect that to Harry, to her time with him at the theater workshop that they did together. So he's on his way there. And so yeah, as I was reading this, I noticed how Harry was remembering he had previously visited Russia on a spring break trip when he was in high school in the 70s. Was that something that you actually did? I'm curious.
Yep.
Did you? I figured. Okay.
Other than Cape Cod, it was the first time I ever. Well, we used to, in the summer, we used to go to this place just over the border in Niagara Falls, New York, called Fantasy Island, and it was an amusement park, but it was. I don't really count that as visiting the States because we were just going to the park, and it was like just over the border. But then when I was 9, we took a trip to Cape Cod, and that was really the only trip I'd ever taken outside of the country. And then in high school, the first year that I was able to actually go on a spring break trip, they were going to the Soviet Union. So I went to Moscow and Leningrad for 9 days. First time I got on a plane.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a trip, let me tell you.
A room check and a trip. What was it about it, Doug?
Well, just such an utterly different culture,
Yeah.
And it was fun writing this section of the book because I haven't been back to Russia. And in fact, when I was writing this book, I was kind of tempted to go back and visit St. Petersburg because, number one, it is a beautiful city.
Yeah.
But and this was before the whole Ukraine nonsense because at that point it was like, no, I'm definitely not going there. But Putin was still running the place even back then when I was writing the book, and I had really mixed feelings about that. And plus, I wasn't really in a position to spring for a trip like that anyway. So I had to do all my present day research on Google, which really bugs me. I much prefer writing from personal experience, but at least I had the personal experience of when I was a kid, so I had something I could compare it to. So a lot of this section where you're getting these descriptions of what it's like now, I was just trying to draw the contrast between what it was like when it was still under Soviet rule in the 70s and what it is today.
Did you have some of these sweetbreads that's in my picture?
I honestly don't remember. We did get a lot of actual Russian food, which was cool.
Like what?
Oh, you name it.
Yeah.
There's a section in the book that we're going to get to where he talks about liver soup with a sausage in it. We had that served to us one day for lunch.
It was good.
It was a little more appetizing than the description we get in this passage. But one day I remember, I can't remember what, I think it was in Moscow, in the Leningrad, in the hotel in Moscow. They brought us at lunch, these bowls heaped full of black caviar. And of course, this is a bunch of high school kids, right? So like there were all these bowls of caviar that had like one spoonful taken out of them, and that was it. And I was like, "Are you kidding? You're not going to eat this stuff? This is amazing!" Like, I didn't like all the food we were served, but I liked the fact that it was authentic. Sometimes they would try to appeal to Western tastes and do what they thought was like our version of dinner, but that was always, not great. Like, no, just serve the real stuff and we'll be happy.
I was gonna say, what was their version of American, like Canadian fare?
It was just, they would serve some kind of meat, but it was, I think most of the time it was horse meat, as opposed to beef, and some really lame attempt at what they thought French fries were and stuff like that. It was just, it wasn't great.
Horse burger and French fries. So is Julie around here, or is she just?
She's gotten very quiet. Maybe she's gone.
She's gotten quiet.
All right, so I guess I'm going to have to keep talking about the book.
Yeah,
then.
I guess. Sure.
Yeah, we've lost her completely. I think she's gone off. She's going to try and log back on.
Oh, okay.
I imagine that's what's happening. So so Harry gets to St. Petersburg, and I mean, from the minute he gets off the plane, he realizes he's in a different place. Are you back with us, Julie? Oh, you're really, really quiet, Julie. We can hardly hear you.
Yeah.
No, you're too faint for us to make out, I'm afraid. Oh, just gonna try again. So I mean, like the airport, the description of the airport. I haven't been there, of course, to see the new one, but I saw a lot of pictures when I Googled it all, and it's just like nothing at all like what it looked like back then. I mean, it was all very drab and gray, and the way most people picture Soviet Russia. That's what a lot of it looked like.
Yeah, the only thing I could probably equate
there you are.
Is, okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
All that time I was like murmuring things and I thought you could hear me until you said I went quiet, and I was like, wait, what? Sorry about that. I don't know what happened to my phone, but all of a sudden you couldn't hear me anymore. So I switched devices, and hopefully this will be much better. You can hear me now, okay?
You're actually louder and clearer now than you were on your phone, so it's great.
Great. Okay.
See, I had something to say about what Doug was talking about.
Go ahead.
When I was in Zagreb, Croatia, it was kind of like a really weird world like that, because they had like an opera house, and it was all very Baroque and very beautiful and very ornamental. And then right across there was the really like communist like looking buildings that were very gray and very basic. So it was really weird to see this beautiful opera house contrasted with like the kind of like utilitarian workers, building.
Well, and that was both Moscow and Leningrad. Leningrad was a much more Western-looking city, but there were still, in the midst of it all, these beautiful old buildings from some of them centuries ago, and that was always the interesting stuff, because Soviet architecture, and you see a lot of this in Warsaw too, like blocks and blocks of Soviet-built apartment buildings, for instance, and they are just as drab and dull as you could possibly imagine,
Okay. Yeah. So I just wanted to say hi to Shadow Skulk in the chat. Nice to see you. And hi to Critter, or aka Mr. Frogman, said, I love you all. Can't stay long. I'm speaking with my Chinese teacher, but I just want to throw some support y'all's way. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. So anyway, sorry about that. I was here, but device failure once again. But now I'm on something more reliable, so fingers crossed, we'll be all right. So anyway,
we didn't get very far. I was just talking about arriving in St. Petersburg.
Okay.
We didn't get past the airport, so
right. So so Harry arrives in St. Petersburg, and he's taken to a swanky hotel, and there are really interesting descriptions of the architecture, like you had just been describing from your own experience, and so clearly they're sparing no expense for Harry. He's got a really nice room. Unfortunately, he doesn't get to enjoy it for very long, but he gets it for a little while. his publishers just go all out on this. Um, and he's worried about how this whole trip is going to affect his relationship with Chantal, of course, who he's reunited with. His love interest from the first book, The Poor Player. Now he's reunited with her in recent years, and so he's worried about how all of this is going to work regarding her. And so he's got a book signing, and it's completely different from the book signing that he experienced the first time when he released A Man of No Importance, because no one showed up to that, and the only person who wanted to sign his book was Pete, his supervisor. So
Exactly.
what a difference from that very first one to this. Yeah, let's see. So yeah, he basically is just gonna wait for Lena to approach him. That's what Pete had told him, that she'll try to find him, because they went crazy advertising this book signing everywhere, and so she'll seek him out because clearly she wants to reconnect with him.
Yeah.
And so, and some of the food mentioned here. It says he had for breakfast kasha, butter brats, and a couple of boiled eggs. I have never heard of kasha or butter brats. What exactly are those, Doug?
I can't even remember now. I think butter brats are a little they're a little pastry type thing. There's a lot of pastry in Russian cooking, that's for sure. And boiled eggs are very common too. I forget what kasha is now. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. So yeah, he indulges in some of that. And he takes a little walk, giving himself a little tour around on the way to the book signing. And I'm guessing these are all areas that you visited.
Not all of them, but and in some of them, I actually mentioned that there's one building that he talks about where he couldn't remember if he visited it when he was there as a kid, and that's exactly the same as me. I mean, this was a long time ago. I went there in 1974, for God's sake. That was 52 years ago. So the details are a little fuzzy at this point, but I do have some very clear memories of St. Petersburg, certain places that we visited, the Hermitage Museum, for instance. The museums are stunning. I mean, the stuff there is just amazing. There's one room, I think it was in the Hermitage. The entire room is paneled in malachite, which is a really brilliant green marble. All the walls are malachite. There's a huge fireplace that's entirely made of malachite. I mean, the marble alone in that room would probably, match the GDP of a small country. It was just ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah, everything sounds so ornate. Some of these buildings. There's an 18th century cathedral that he goes by, with gilded onion domes and just surfaces everywhere covered in gold leaf.
Yeah, they're very big on gold leaf, that's for sure.
It sounds beautiful, really beautiful. He goes to, let's see, I have no idea how to pronounce these things, but Nevsky Prospect or something.
Yeah, Nevsky Prospect is like one of the main drags right through the middle of downtown St. Petersburg.
Mm-hmm.
It's named after Alexander Nevsky.
Okay. Let's see, there's a monument to Catherine II, the Alexandrinsky Theater. And are these places that you visited too?
I don't remember, and I would have been too young for this to mean anything to me because I hadn't been to theater school yet, but I would have loved to have visited the Alexandrinsky Theater because, as I mentioned in the book, that's where a lot of the first productions of Chekhov's plays happened. It was a company called the Moscow Art Theater that produced a lot of his plays. And that's where Konstantin Stanislavski, the famous acting teacher, got his start, if memory serves.
Oh,
so yeah.
Awesome. So let's see, and then finally he makes his way over to the book signing, and he remembers that first book signing where no one showed up and thought this could be a very long day, but it turns out to be nothing like that at all.
No, indeed.
And he meets a woman, a woman there who's nothing at all like who you would expect. So there's her name is Svetlana, but she might as well be an American. She looks and sounds like a cheerleader for the LA Rams, and her English is great. And it turns out it's because her parents worked in the Foreign Service and she spent most of her teen years in the States. Went to the University of Michigan. So,
and this was just an attempt at my creating an artificial contrast between the old and the new, because the other Svetlana that I mentioned in the book was actually our in-tourist guide in Moscow. The one with the fur hat and the eye makeup and all the rest of it, who looked like a refugee from Dr. Zhivago. I mean, that was the first Svetlana I met, So this one, I wanted someone who was just completely the other end of the spectrum. So this is what we got.
Yeah, they're two polar opposites for sure. Yeah. I could literally picture them next to each other, and night and day. So yeah, he's made very welcome by the very Americanized Svetlana, so yeah, he's treated to some more Russian food, some more pastries, gingerbreads, something that looked a lot like Turkish taffy, a bunch of fat little pancakes, and some buns with baked cottage cheese in the middle. Ew, that's kind of weird to me.
Yeah, that's good to me.
Baked cottage cheese. Interesting. They're called vatrushki. Interesting. Yes, I don't have an expanded palate like that, so I would be a picky eater.
That's a picture I got on my avatar.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I guess it could be good. Who knows? I need to try more new food, I think. I'm very limited. I'm very Americanized, meat and potatoes kind of person. Anyway.
Well, a lot of Russian stuff is pretty meat and potatoes too, and lots of doughy stuff, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, then it might not be a bad fit for me, actually. So, yeah. So, I liked the little meta moment where Harry is talking to she tells him to call her Lana, and she asks if in his first book if it was based on real events, was there any truth to it at all, and he's like, well, people are gonna believe what they want. It's all there in the legal disclaimer. She says, any plans to write a sequel? And he says, I've been toying with one, sketched out a few ideas. I don't have anything solid yet. And you're literally in the middle of the sequel right now, writing a sequel.
I'm not. I'm exactly where he describes himself to be. I'm toying with some ideas, but I haven't sketched anything out really.
Yeah. But this particular book is a sequel to the first one, so it's like, yeah, it's the first one, it was like a book within a book. A man of no importance, being written as as part of the larger book. But anyway, so yeah, she sets him up, and he has a really successful book signing this time. It's
Mhm.
completely different. And then they have a break for lunch. They go to the Singer Cafe, originally called the Singer House. It was supposed to be a skyscraper, but the building code at the time here in St. Petersburg didn't allow any buildings to be taller than the Winter Palace. Was this a place that you visited? I was curious as to.
Oh,
Okay.
that building? No, we may have gone by it. Because when I was researching it, I had a dim memory of, well, why was the building called Singer? And it was the Singer Sewing Company. It was that family that built it. This was all pre-revolution, of course, so that's how that happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So then he goes back for more book signing, and then towards the end, just when it seems like Lena's not going to show up today, and he didn't expect her to in such a public way, just to show up at the book signing, she actually does. There she is, with her upside down smile, just like he remembered her. And I thought that was such a cool moment. He felt this rush of emotion. He said, the rush of emotion I felt in that instant was so intense that I stopped breathing, my heart knocking against my ribs. He's just immediately brought back to that time when he was with her, that very brief time, even though it had been 25 years. He said she looked like she just stepped through a time portal and into the future.
And I don't know if you've ever had that experience of, seeing somebody after a long time that you had that intense a connection with, but that description is my attempt at describing what that feels like as closely as I could, because it can be pretty overwhelming.
I bet. Yeah, it's never happened to me, so.
But, I had a friend of mine that I was really close to in high school. I hadn't seen him because I was in California for 20 years, and then the first time we saw each other, because we were going to collab on a short film, it was exciting to see him again. We were best buddies, I hadn't seen him forever. He has a wife and kids and everything. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's got to be surreal, after so many years to get to see somebody again like that. I haven't run into anybody like that. But oh, hi there, Faith and Repentance. Nice to see you. And appreciate you stopping in. She said, hey, y'all, hope everyone had a safe winter storm in America. We had a lot of winter storms around the country, for sure.
Yeah, we got hit by all that stuff, too.
Oh, you did.
Isn't Canada also still having a storm like Michigan is?
Yeah.
It's still storming? Yeah. It's like snowing every day.
It wasn't snowing today, but it's been just bitterly cold and windy too.
A damp cold, like a dank cold. Yeah.
Well, it's not as damp this time of year, but it's not as dry as the prairies, that's for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't make a snowman. I was trying to make a snowman for because the reserve by my house has a little contest, so you have to go to these different parks and stuff in the winter and do things. And they said make a snowman, and I had my boyfriend's phone with me, and I couldn't get him to take a picture, and he was waiting in the car, and I couldn't get him to come all the way over to the other side of the reserve to take the picture. But I could barely get like a pack, like some days with snow, you can't get a pack at all. It's just like powder.
Yeah, if it's too cold, it's like great for skiing.
It
it's not
took me
great
forever. But I can't even take a picture of it. It's really rough. I can get to work sometimes, but not today.
No.
So, Julie,
Julie,
are
you
you?
still with us?
Sorry about that. I'm still here.
I was panicking again, Julie. I thought you dropped out of existence.
Nope, I'm here. I'm
There
here.
you go.
Fate said, I realize now Russia and other places in the world got sacked with snow too. Sorry, no, don't be sorry for exclusion. It's no problem there. And I think we're mostly speaking to an American audience anyway at the moment. Faith said, "I'll dig you out anytime, Doug." Okay. So let's see. So where were we here?
The reunion.
Yeah. So they have this reunion, and Harry signs the book very romantically to Lena, the one that got away. Love, Harry. And she, she asks if he's going to be busy after, if he has plans, and he says no. So he agrees to get together with her because all of a sudden his jet lag isn't so bad and he's got a second wind, a chance to spend some time with her.
So she takes him on a little tour of downtown St. Petersburg. Gives him some historical background on some of the sites, some of the buildings. And most of these places we're talking about, they're not traveling very far here. These places are all like about a 5-10 minute walk from the bookstore. So he's just he's not very far at all from where his hotel is through all of this stuff here.
Oh, okay. The Kazan Cathedral. Let's see, that there's that. And let's see. She explains how the architect modeled it after St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. Even though a lot of people in the church were unhappy with the idea of fashioning an Orthodox cathedral after a Catholic one, but the Tsar wanted it that way. And then she says the man who supervised initial construction was named Alexander Stroganov. And he's like, is that the guy they named the beef after? She said, no, that was one of his descendants. That's what I thought of too, beef stroganoff. That's where my mind went.
Totally.
She said the story goes that General Kutuzov, who was in charge of the Russian forces fighting Napoleon, asked the Virgin of Kazan for help in defeating the French. When Kutuzov beat them in 1812, the cathedral became a memorial to that victory. Ever since, it's been seen as a symbol of our protection against foreign invaders. Interesting stuff. It's a nice little history in there.
Yeah.
And it's, of course, incredibly ornate too, this cathedral, and full of gold leaf and big chandelier. It sounds exquisite.
Well, if you want to have a look, Google it, because there are lots of pictures online that'll give you a very good idea of what it looks like.
Cool. And now they also have a bunch of modern chains, because it's no longer the way things were before during the Cold War. Like, they wouldn't have had all these Western chains allowed in their country, but now they've got Burger King and Samsung and all of that stuff. So they've got that, and she takes him.
This is something that came. This next bit about the ice cream is something that actually happened to me when I was in St. Petersburg the first time.
Oh yeah.
Our guides. We had two guides, and one of them, her name was actually Lena, and she was kind of tall. And she spoke with a Russian accent. The other one, her name was Natasha, and she was a little tiny thing, this little button nose, and she spoke with this very proper British accent. It was interesting. They had a day off, and so they had kind of taken a shine to our group. So they took us on a little unauthorized tour of downtown Leningrad. And it's the only time on the trip where we did anything that wasn't scheduled. Those trips, when you visited Russia at the time, your time was like scheduled within an inch of its life, you know. They didn't give you any free time to do anything on your own, but it's just the way it worked out. We had this one free afternoon. So the two of them just took us for a walk, very similar to this one, and some of the same places. And that's where I went to my first ice cream shop and had my first taste of Russian ice cream, which was awesome. And that's that word that you see there in Cyrillic. It says morozhinoye. That's Russian for ice cream.
I was, you know, I was going to ask you if you hadn't mentioned that. I was going to ask you if you had actually had the Russian ice cream. I figured that was probably pulled from real life.
Yeah.
And the mango flavor.
Yeah, I was going to say what flavors. Sorry. We share the same brain, you and I. So.
I actually, you know, it's funny. I don't remember what flavor I had at the time. I think it was probably chocolate. But I just remember it being like the richest, creamiest, most amazing ice cream I'd ever tasted in my life.
Wow. That's awesome. I love ice cream. It's one of my biggest vices for sure. I'd be in trouble around that stuff. So yeah, he has some ice cream with Lena, and let's see. So he has mango, which is an interesting flavor for ice cream. And then they plan on meeting for dinner later. He goes back to take a nap, and she goes on her way. And now he's kind of having to struggle with his feelings because he had thought that she was dead until not that long before this. He had just assumed she must have been executed when she was apprehended by the Russians.
Yeah.
And to find out she was alive and now to reunite with her after all this time was overwhelming. And even though their relationship only lasted about a week or so, he says, even in that short time, I had fallen for her and fallen hard. And he had admitted that to Pete. And over the years, he had always used that as an example, citing his brief affair with Lena as an object lesson in how not to do his job. Warning him against those temptations. You know, Pete told him, you're going to find yourself involved in a lot of intense short-term relationships, most of which will come to an end with little or no warning. It's the nature of the job. And I couldn't help but think of the life of a traveling theater actor, like you've been, Doug, and how that could apply to your life when you were traveling a lot, maybe.
Well, actually, Pete gives him a similar speech in the first book, at a very different time, of course. And when he hears Pete say this stuff to him, Harry's reaction is, you know, I was wondering if he was talking about my theater career because it's basically the same situation, you know.
Yep, exactly. So it can't be easy. You know, you get attached to people and then you have to move on. You have to go your separate ways.
Yeah.
So you know, he's thinking about all of that, and then there's Chantal, and he feels guilty about these feelings he's having for Lena, and even wonders if Chantal instinctively knew that he might still have lingering feelings for Lena, that he was someone who had trouble falling out of love. Once he fell in love, he had a hard time falling out of it. So
yeah, I wonder where I got that idea from.
Yeah, that's a page ripped out of your own life, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
one of many, many pages here ripped out of my own life.
So, Chantal had asked him questions like wondering if he'd ever have an affair and trying to talk him out of going to St. Petersburg. Said she was tired of him disappearing for days or weeks at a time, but maybe there was more to it than that. He wondered. She didn't know anything about Lena, but he wondered if she somehow foresaw what he was now going to be going through.
Yeah.
And he just felt terrible about it. And so yeah, he feels like history could be repeating himself again. History could be repeating itself in that he'd first met Chantal years before, back when he was a trainee. They had a brief, intense affair. Decades later, they meet again, they fall in love again, and now he meets Lena again under similar circumstances, and so the same thing could be happening again.
And particularly because of the way she relates to him. Because, when they have that first meeting in the bookstore, there's that bit about how shall we go for a walk, and she slips her hand around his arm, and it's like she's been doing it for the last 20 years, it's almost as if no time has gone by for her, at least the way she's relating to him. And that I think would be, for a guy of Harry's particular psychological makeup, that would be the easiest way through his armor right there, like he's just powerless against that. Oh my God, she still loves me,
Yeah. They have such a natural connection that just all those years haven't taken away. It just came right back, and it felt like it was so natural. So
yes, dangerously comfortable.
yes. So now he's realizing that he was apprehensive not just about the op that he's been sent to do, but also about how he was going to react upon seeing Lena again.
Yeah.
And it seemed like she's feeling the same thing. She's not shy at all about showing her affection, and they look like a couple who's been together for years walking down the street, the way that it feels. So yeah, he then takes a nap. He's completely exhausted and jet lagged, sleeps through his alarm, and then she wakes him up with a phone call, and he rushes to go down and meet her. And she does a traditional 3 kisses on greeting of 3 kisses on his cheeks, Russian style. So I didn't know that they did that, 3 kisses on the cheek.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So they go out to eat, and it's so it's nothing that special. It's or fancy. It's very casual, seemingly more like an upscale donut shop than anything else. But they have great food, apparently. So they have great Italian food. And they're acting just like a couple. She takes his hand across the table, and is feeling very romantic. And she's glad that he's here. And she, of course, admits that those messages she sent from the taming of the shrew, that that was indeed directed at Harry, and trying to get his attention through CSIS. And she wanted to get in touch for a long time, but she didn't really know how to do it, how it would be received. Then she heard about his book being published in Russian, and it seemed like the perfect opportunity. So she took advantage of that. And then then there's this waiter Gregor, he gives them kind of a funny look and a wink at Harry, and Harry's like, I think Gregor thinks we're on a hot date or maybe having an affair. And she says, well, who knows? The night is young, with her upside down grin. So there's a lot of flirting going on here.
Yeah, he's in big trouble.
Yeah, he's in big trouble. And he stops himself from just, letting her know that can't happen. He doesn't intend to be unfaithful to Chantal, but he knows that this mission it might have to have some kind of moral flexibility, according to Pete. So he can't completely just shoot her down.
No.
So he just kind of lets that flirting continue. And she talks. So she gives him some background on what happened to her after she was apprehended, and she managed to avoid being executed. She became infamous basically when she came back to Russia. She was basically known as the spy who got caught. She couldn't pursue a career as an actress anymore, and she said almost everyone in her office speaks fluent English, and they switch back and forth so much that they call it Russlish. So that's why her English is still so good. And she works with computers now, very different line of work.
Yeah.
From what she did before. And she wanted to know about what his love life is like, and he just he kind of dodges having to directly answer that he has a partner currently. So he just says, for most of the time, it's been a wasteland. And I thought this line was funny. It may not be possible to rediscover your virginity once you've lost it, but I've come as close as you can to doing just that. And he says, let's just say if monasteries went around soliciting for applicants, they'd have been beating a path to my door. And she of course doesn't understand that. And so yeah, they continue that kind of line of discussion, but eventually she does come back around to asking, well, okay, you said your love life has been a wasteland most of the time. Does that mean it still is? So of course, this is a little bit later. They have dessert, and then they go for a little walk, leaving the restaurant, and yeah. So she asks him the question, and he tells her that he just ran in about a year ago. He ran into a woman he hadn't seen in over 30 years. Who he had a brief liaison with in his 20s, and they fell in love all over again. So he says that they have their separate homes in Montreal and Toronto, and he's not sure he's ready to move in with her just yet. Even though she wants to do that full time. And she immediately asks the question, "Oh, afraid of commitment, Harry?" He says no. There are just practical advantages to having their own places, and she still argues afraid of commitment, and there is a bit of truth in that, isn't there? I mean, there's a bit of a fear of commitment in Harry. From what
I think so. I mean, his practical concerns about the relationship are absolutely legitimate, but two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah. So then he wants to know about her love life, and And she finally gets into the gory details of what happened to her. When she was sent back, she was thrown in prison and questioned, and they realized that her desire to defect really didn't have much to do with politics and more to do with her personal life. She just went native. She was a sleeper agent who went native. So then after a few weeks, a new interrogator came in a Savile Row suit, clearly looking like an oligarch, which he was. His name was Borya Volkov, who would become her husband. And so this is Harry had already known that she was married to this man, but not how they met. He didn't know how they met.
That's right.
So so basically he had the hots for her. He came there to confess that he felt love at first sight when he first saw her face on TV, and confessed that at their first meeting, and wanted to rescue her from prison, essentially. So it took some time. They had to wait a bit, but since there was a threat of war in Chechnya and the country was heading into the worst depression in history, Yeltsin's government was desperate for cash, so they were striking deals with oligarchs to prop up the economy, and when one of them asked for a favor, it was usually granted. So he paid up, got her out of prison, and his marriage proposal was a condition of getting her released. She literally had to agree to marry him to get freed from prison. It's terrible. Yeah. Like Harry says, talk about a shotgun wedding. Yeah. Just gun to the head. You're either gonna rot here in this prison for life or marry me. And she was convinced she would have died in prison. So, I mean, what kind of a choice is that? Of course, you're going to agree to marry the guy. So, then acting was no longer an option for her. So he sent her back to school to get her degree in computer science and set her up with a cushy job in his energy company. So, and Harry pointed out, it sounds so mercenary, like a business deal, and she had an interesting response to that, which was, throughout human history, that's been true of most marriages, particularly those among the upper classes. We like to think of marriage as just a romantic thing purely, and you marry someone for love. But if you look at most of history, that really hasn't been the case. There are all kinds of practical concerns that governed the whole affair.
For most frequently a business decision, right?
So it's unfortunate, but she could have had it worse. Rich, handsome guy, I guess, but nobody wants to have to be forced into marriage just to regain your freedom. And then I was surprised. She actually knew at this point. She admits that she knew what he's really there for. That he's with CSIS, and he's not just there to autograph a bunch of books. She just drops the pretense. So what's the real reason? Well, he says that the powers that be told me that you were in charge of the Internet Research Agency, and when you weren't busy sabotaging our upcoming election, you were sending them coded messages from work, apparently aimed at me, which implied that maybe you wanted to defect. Again, they seem to be to be under the impression that I might have to talk you into it. And she said, well, you don't have to talk me into anything. I want out. Anyone with half a brain should have realized that from the messages I sent. And she was praying that they would send Harry, and she wouldn't have trusted anyone else after what happened with CSIS the last time. I mean, they really screwed up big time. They were trying to escort her somewhere to debrief her, and they were supposed to keep her safe, and they let the Russians get to her. That's how she wound up in this predicament. So you can understand why she didn't want to trust anybody but him.
Yeah, totally.
Amy said she should have chose the prison. The grass is green is not greener on the other side. Hey, Miss J's Reviews. Nice to see you. Hope you're doing well too. Anyway, so where was I here? So then there's the IRA that she's in charge of, the Internet Research Association, I guess, agency. It's a privately owned company, but they do take their orders from the Kremlin, though. It's a GRU operation, and she's the ranking officer there. So she explains how that came to be, and how she wound up with the job. She worked her way up the chain of command, and at that point, she realizes that they're being followed. There are a couple of guys following them at a distance, and then there are a couple other guys up ahead. So they decide to cut off the evening there and meet up again, because that's an unsettling thing.
And we should probably point out that the people who are following her haven't been sent by the government. They've been sent by her husband.
Right. Yeah. Who's just as formidable as the government at this point.
Oh, easily. I mean, in a way, it's kind of is like having the government after you when you're talking about one of the oligarchs, especially one as powerful as he is. But this is a very private and personal interest that he has in having her followed, as opposed to what the governments might be.
Right. Yeah, he's extremely possessive of her. He knows how she felt about him, about Harry. So yeah, it makes sense that he would have her followed. So so they end their evening there. She tells him that they're not interested in Harry. It's her husband who keeps a very close eye on her. So that's why she needs his help getting out of there. What a scary situation. So let's see. So now Harry has to worry about being under surveillance, even though he's not the object of their scrutiny. That's concerning. Trying to go about this operation, knowing he's being watched.
Well, specifically that she's being watched because she's the operation. So, I mean, yeah, they may not, hubby might not be interested in her, but like the fact that they're being watched at all is a huge problem. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So then they go to the lobby of his hotel, and she invites herself up for a nightcap, and then they go up, and he's worried though, because and it makes sense for him to be worried that the room is bound to be bugged. When they have Westerners staying in hotel rooms, they tend to be bugged, apparently. So she said that she says she's not what was it she said? That she'll take care of the she'll take care of the cameras. I can't find the spot where she said that, but
It's somewhere right around here.
yeah. But well,
here it is. It's a little further down
okay.
when they get their drinks.
Okay.
And she says, "What's wrong, Harry? You seem nervous." He says, "I am nervous, truth be told." She says, "What about?" He says, "Oh, lots of things. The fact that somebody's probably recording a video of us as we speak." And she says, "Harry, I'm the head of the Internet Research Agency. I can take care of the video. Don't worry about it."
Yeah. Yes, she certainly can take care of the video. Not in the way that he thought, though.
No, indeed.
And and she had brought him some alcohol to as a little welcoming gift. He wonders if she's trying to seduce him, and she says, I'd be lying if I said the thought hadn't crossed my mind. So he's in big trouble here. And so yeah, he's starting to panic. He's he knows what Pete would say. She wants you, then tell her she can have you, for Christ's sakes. Promise her whatever you have to just to get her back. Just get her back here. What's the big hairy deal?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he would say. But he's he's just uncomfortable with it, and he's so close to falling in love with Lena all over again, and that would end his relationship with Chantal. He can't let that happen. He's spent most of his life looking for this kind of relationship, and he's not going to give it up for the sake of a CSIS op, even when they could save the free world as they knew it. So he just kind of mulls this over. What is he going to do?
And there's something else significant that she says in this scene, and that is the fact that her husband is quite obsessed with Harry.
Yes.
Because, he tells her when they get married that he says right up front, "I know you don't love me, and I'm okay with that," kind of thing. But then, of course, that turns out to be not really the truth. And then we learn that, he's obsessed with Harry. And I guess one of the reasons is because, he realizes that she's still carrying a torch for this guy, the way that she never did for him. So
right.
Boreas got it in for Harry, in other words, in a very personal kind of way.
Right. It's something that's bothered him for a long time. Even though she told him over and over again he's making something out of nothing, and she and Harry only had that brief affair and they'd never see each other again. But she admits to Harry that when she saw him in the bookstore that afternoon, she realized her husband was right, that she was in love with Harry, and she still is.
Yeah.
It's quite a confession. It's getting intense here romantically. And he tells her, like, I'm in love with Chantal, crazy in love as it happens. I can't do this. I'm sorry. And she says, "Oh, I wish she was here to hear you say that." And then he starts getting kind of loopy. He's like, "If she were here, she'd be trying to scratch your ears out." She says, "My ears," and then he's having difficulty forming words. His vision is starting to tilt sideways on its own. And he's about to spill his drink when she takes it from his hand, and everything goes blurry and fades to black. So as soon as he started to get loopy, I thought, oh no, there was something in that drink. She spiked the drink.
The proverbial Mickey Finn. Yes.
Yeah.
Oldest trick in the book.
He fell for the oldest trick in the book, and he was a trained spy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's embarrassing. And I was not expecting the next passage.
Yes, there was a.
This is where the title of the book takes on a whole new resonance. You're going to have to excuse me for a sec. I need to get some more water, but I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. Yeah, things get pretty unexpectedly steamy here, and I didn't see that one coming at all. I'm gonna take a drink of my own water too.
Or maybe slightly exaggerated. Who knows?
Maybe slightly exaggerated.
What are you drinking?
No, just some nice ice water, nice cold ice water.
Hey, do you have a treadmill yet?
I do. It's a little wonky and it needs some work, but it's better than nothing for now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. So yeah, things get really interesting. Really interesting now. He wakes up naked in bed. The room smelled a bit of cigarettes, and he starts to have vague memories coming back of Lena leading him to the bed and undressing him, coming back wearing a little see-through nightie. And yeah, he realizes she drugged him. He couldn't figure out why. Oldest trick in the book, he fell for it, and why did she do it? And then he realizes his laptop and his phone are probably both compromised, even though they're password protected. I mean, there are ways to get around that. And it didn't make sense that he smelled the cigarettes, though, because as far as he knew, she didn't smoke. And so that part doesn't fit. And how do you sleep with a guy who's unconscious? He's trying to figure all of that out. He goes out to get some breakfast, and as he's walking by a window with a bunch of TVs in it, he sees on the screen a surveillance video from a camera set up in a hotel room with a man and woman in bed together, enthusiastically humping their brains out.
This is actually he goes to a McDonald's for breakfast, and this is happening in the McDonald's.
Oh,
They've got TVs all over the place. So
yeah,
crowded McDonald's when this happens.
What an odd place for a bunch of TVs with the news and that stuff all over it. So they blurred out all the nudity, but it was clear that the man was hugely endowed and the woman was making the most of that. It went on for a while, two of them trying just about every position and sex act imaginable. It was like watching a YouTube guide to the Kama Sutra. And then he realized that the hotel room in the video was his own. The two turned their faces toward the camera, and the faces were his and Lena's. Then they flashed his name on the screen and an image from the jacket of his book. A bunch of customers around him recognized him and began pointing and laughing and shouting at him in Russian. I found this hilarious. I have to say, it's horrifying, but it's pretty funny too. What made you? What inspired you to think of this wild scenario? Like, what gave you this inspiration?
A whole bunch of things. I mean, part of it was just the title itself, The Shaming of the True. I mean, here's Harry, literally being shamed, this guy who's trying to be true. So, I mean, on a very, very literal level, that's the case. But also, you have to remember, I was writing this at the time when deep fakes were becoming a big issue, and the Russians were notorious for using them. it just there was also the whole idea of like he's been rendered unconscious. He doesn't know what's happened to him. You know, was he conscious enough that he actually participated? I mean, he figures out pretty quickly when he sees the video clip, okay, that couldn't possibly have been me, you know, but up until then, he doesn't really know, like, what did I do? Did she take advantage of me, kind of thing? And there was also the fact that pretty early on, I knew that I wanted her to betray him in a way that would be deeply personal and deeply disillusioning and all of that, you know, like just like the worst kind of betrayal. Someone that despite all of the reasons not to, someone that he trusted, you know, and then this happens. And then I thought, well, if I do that, at the risk of giving a bit of a spoiler, but we're going to find this out very shortly anyway, I very quickly have to find a way to get him out of there, you know?
Right.
So that's what prompts what happens next.
Yeah. It's a shocking turn of events, a shocking betrayal, because I was getting nothing but genuine vibes from Lena. I mean, it's an odd thing to say about someone who spent years as a spy, but as a sleeper agent, but still, in her dealings with Harry, she's seemed very genuine about her feelings toward him.
And that's exactly what's so confounding about this. The other elements, you know, with the whole sex thing and you know, she makes a joke about peeing on the mattress and stuff like that. It was a direct reference to the infamous Trump pee tape, you know, that everybody says Putin has, which I'm absolutely convinced is true, by the way.
Me too.
If it's not a pee tape, they've got compromat on him for sure. But I mean, that's a classic thing for the Russians to do, you know, and Trump would have fallen for a trick like that, like a ton of bricks. So I'm absolutely convinced that actually happened.
Me
so
too.
All of that stuff was kind of, you know, the goulash that became this sequence of events we're reading now.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew that had to be a reference to the infamous legendary P tape that I'm convinced exists too. Yeah. That was funny. And yeah, they love doing stuff like this. Deep fakes are a huge problem nowadays, and they've gotten better and better. They've gotten even more realistic since the time when you wrote this book, just as fast as technology is advancing and AI and all that stuff. So it's not a good thing.
No, indeed.
Yeah, Amy, not the golden showers. Yes, the golden showers. That's exactly.
The golden arches. The McDonald's.
Yep. And yep, she slipped a Mickey, Amy. That old trick. So he runs out of there while there's a chorus of cat calls and applause as he's running away. It's too funny. And he's furious, and he's remembering that line that she said to him, "Harry, I'm the head of the Internet Research Agency. I can take care of the video." She set him up. Of course she can take care of the video. She deep faked it. And he's trying to figure out, why would she do this? Why would she do this to embarrass him publicly and herself? Why would she have her own face in the video when she could have blurred that out? Because that's humiliating to her too. It could be that she's just trying to sabotage his relationship with Chantal. He wonders that, but he shoots that down. That doesn't make sense. It's not enough of a reason. So he imagines what Pete would say, what Pete's going to say when he gets a hold of him, how he could fall for such a trick. "Hey, you got roofied, you fucking moron. What the hell is wrong with you? Have I taught you nothing?" Like, that's exactly what he would say. But he never even has a chance to reach out to Pete, because he goes back. He tries to go back to the hotel, and then he's accosted by somebody who shows an ID card in his face, and announces himself as Ilya Lyanov, FSB, and makes it clear that he doesn't have any choice but to go with these people. He's very polite about it, but it's clear that it's not an option. He has to go. He wants to make a phone call first, and the guy just takes his phone right out of his hand, shows him into a vehicle, and they head out. Then they head up to what clearly looks like a prison, with surrounded by high walls topped with razor wire. And when Harry asks what it is, Lyanov just says, government facility. Yeah, that's an ominous looking government facility. I'm just thinking, how is Harry going to get out of this? I mean, a Russian prison, like, just think of the people who have rotted away in Russian prisons for the rest of their lives. And it just seems like a horrific place. Just exactly what you would imagine, just grimy, filthy, leaky pipes, musty air. And he takes him in to meet with a well-dressed man in his late 50s who introduces himself as Borya Volkov, the husband of Lena. And he says, I can't tell you what a pleasure this is. And he's not lying, because he is taking great pleasure in this. He wants to throw Harry away for the rest of his life. He welcomes him to Cresty 2 prison. And he says flat out, he just cuts right to the chase. You slept with my wife. I'm afraid that's something I can't forgive. And, of course, Harry objects that he was unconscious and he didn't choose to sleep with anybody. She spiked his drink. But Volkov says that's ridiculous. That can happen to a woman, but a man can't perform under such conditions. The man in that video with his wife was wide awake. Harry says that couldn't be him. And furthermore, I mean, you can't arrest somebody just for sleeping with your wife. But Volkov says, no, you're not being arrested for that. You're charged with espionage. And he knows he has a dossier on him. He knows he's not just there for a book signing. He has a dossier. He knows exactly who he is, his birthday, that he was recruited by CSIS in 1990. He has the whole dossier on him. And this is just baffling to Harry. Like, how did he get that? How did they get that information? The Russians should have been unaware of his existence, according to Pete. So that's a mystery as to how they got their hands on that dossier. And Harry, asks to speak to someone from his embassy. Volkov refuses to let him do that or to speak to anyone at all. And he's not even going to be tried for espionage. There's not going to be any court proceeding. It's just an extrajudicial procedure. He'll just be sent to one of their facilities in the East, as he calls it, on a nice long train ride. But I like how Harry described it. The East being somewhere in buttfuck Siberia, I take it. Yeah, that's about right. It's not quite Siberia, but Volkov says, I intend to drop you down a very deep, dark hole from which you will never escape. I mean, this is like everybody's worst nightmare, to be in a foreign country that's hostile to ours, and to face, horrific treatment at the hands of their injustice system, because it's not even really a justice system, to be just thrown in a prison forever. That's horrifying.
Kind of like being an illegal alien in the United States right about now, if you think about it.
Yeah, it is. It is. And
one thing about Harry here is, like, this was one of the things he was concerned about when Pete was trying to talk him into doing this. It's like, the Russians know they know about me, because of course Lena found out back, she told Harry she knew all about him when they were flying back to Toronto from Oxford. So of course, when they got her home, if they didn't know already, they would certainly, the fact that she knew implies that the Russians knew. So the Russians know who Harry actually is. But, Pete's response is, well, you're not, to their knowledge, you're not there to do any, you're retired. You're just going there for the book signing kind of thing. The surprise for Harry is that they've got my whole freaking dossier. How did they get their hands on that?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the question. How did they get all of that? And so, he's thrown in a nasty cell, just disgusting, unsanitary, dark, dank cell, and everything is concrete floor, concrete walls, concrete bed, a rust-streaked toilet with no seat. It's the stuff of the worst nightmares. And they serve him some food, but it's some disgusting thing. It's that's where he's served a little plastic bowl of disgusting liver soup served with a fat gristly sausage submerged in it. That sounds disgusting.
Yes, and when we were in Moscow, that's what we had for lunch one day. But it wasn't a fat grisly sausage. It was actually a good sausage. But liver soup, couldn't get it down.
Yeah, that sounds nasty.
Looks like it has a lot of iron in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey there, welcome, Drew's Movie Club. Nice to see you. Let me see if I can find your link so you can drop it in the comments section. Drew's Movie Club has a channel. So very cool to see fellow creator. Always like to show support for my fellow YouTubers out there. And so I'm going to see if I can locate your link and share it with the folks here. Anyway, let's see. So Harry is just struggling to try to figure out, like, why did this happen to him? Why does she even want to get out of the country, or was that just made up? Does she even want to defect? Why drug him, sleep with him or someone who looks a lot like him and post a video? And then he starts to think, well, maybe maybe he had the right idea when he wondered if she might have been thinking of revenge against him, that she blamed him for being abducted back in 1994, because he had promised her that everything would be all right and she could count on CSIS to do right by her, and that CSIS let her down, and maybe this is a payback scheme.
Mm-hmm.
But he's left just to ponder all that, and then but not much time goes by before none other than Lena shows up at the prison. And at first he hears like a woman's voice arguing with somebody outside, and then they open the door. She takes him out and is able to just get him out of the prison just as quickly as he had been in there. I mean, he's not in there very long. Not a lot of time passes, although I'm sure it felt like an eternity as he's laying in there terrified. pacing the floor, terrified. But she's able to just get him right out just as easily as he got in. She flashes an ID, she gets him out. And I was wondering how she pulled that off exactly. Does she have? I mean, what kind of authority did she use?
Well, she's in her SVR uniform, and I think she's a colonel, if memory serves me right. She's like a high-ranking military officer, you know.
Okay.
That sort of comes with her job, like, and of course it was all because of Boria that she ended up with that. You know, she got her computer degree. They set her up with the Internet Research Agency, which is, you know, officially a private company, but it's basically run by the Russian military, you know. So yeah, she's a high-ranking military officer. That's why the guard in the prison is so afraid of her.
Okay. Well, she certainly did intimidate the guard into letting him letting Harry out just as quickly as he'd gotten in there. So
oh yeah, sorry, and I'm wrong. And she's with the GRU, not the SVR. But yeah, she's a high-ranking military person anyway. So
yeah. And you're welcome, Drew. I just dropped a link to Drew's movie club in the live chat, so you can check out his channel and the stuff that he covers, doing reviews of both new and older movies. And you're so welcome, Drew. I believe in supporting fellow content creators wherever we can, just lifting each other up, and that's how it should be. It should never be a competition. The way some people treat it on YouTube. And anyway, but getting back into this, so he wants answers, of course, right away, but she doesn't give them immediately. So we've got to wait in suspense along with Harry for a little while. He wants to get out of the country immediately, but it's not safe at the moment because Vorlov's guys are going to be watching the hotel and the airport. So they go off to a friend's place who has a flat on a nearby island. And so they head over there. Her friend Natasha lives there. And he feels completely betrayed, of course. And she does admit that she betrayed him and she apologizes, but she had no choice. And so she says she'll tell him the whole story when they get to her friend's house. And the building just sounds hideous, like something out of Soviet era Russia, a drab, faceless concrete tower painted a dull yellow, identical to all the ones surrounding it, except for the graffiti scrawled on its walls. But then oddly, the lobby was also, the old Soviet style. But then oddly, her apartment is modern and beautiful. So she's spruced it up quite a bit. And then now these Russian words that you inserted into the dialogue, do you have some? I know you have an aptitude for languages. Do you just happen to know a few random Russian words that you used, or did you have to look these things up?
Yes and yes. Yeah, both are true. When I went to Russia, we had a teacher in my school who actually was fluent in Russian, and he volunteered his time after school for several weeks before we left, actually months. We would get together, I think maybe a couple of times a week for about 3 or 4 months before we went. And he taught us the Russian alphabet and some very basic Russian grammar and, a few phrases and stuff like that. I mean, there's only so much you can learn in that much time, with these part-time classes. But yeah, it really kind of stuck with me. He's still alive. He's living in Lansing, Michigan now. And through a mutual friend, I got in touch with him. And I used Google Translate to translate some of the stuff that I couldn't do on my own. But I sent him a copy of the book and said, can you go through the Russian for me and let me know how it is, and he had me do a couple of minor changes, but most of it was pretty much okay.
Okay. Yeah, I envy that aptitude for languages, because I just find it a lot more difficult. And so yeah, the foreign languages don't stick in my head the way I would like them to. But I just love I love hearing the like different languages and spoken in the true accents, the way they should be.
Well, accents are my strong point. I can fool people into thinking that I speak a language just by being able to do the accent.
Yeah.
Yesterday we had our camera woman was Mexican, so her mother tongue is Spanish, and so I threw a couple of lines of Spanish at her, and I think she thought I could speak Spanish really well, so she started nattering away in Spanish, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I had to say to her, solo hablo un poquito de español y no puedo entender casi nada.
Nice. So yeah, you could fool a lot of people with the way that you pull off accents.
I can translate some of this as we go along. When Natasha says Lena Milaya, that means Lena dear, basically, and Privyet Natasha is hi Natasha, basically.
Okay. And then what is this? Spasibo or something? What does that mean?
Spasibo is thank you.
Oh, okay. Spasibo. And then Harry says, "This is lovely. Thank you so much for taking me in, Natasha." On the next page, and she says something else.
You're welcome. It also means please.
Okay.
A lot of Slavic languages have a word that has both meanings. The same is true in Polish. In Polish, you say proszę. Proszę means please or you're welcome.
Nice. And then as they have the TV on, which is showing a game show, and then it's replaced by a banner with a news report showing a graphic photo of Lena and Harry with a Russian headline there. And do you know what that means in
Poslednie novosti. Novosti means news.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember what poslednie. I think it probably means daily or latest or something. But yeah, novosti is news.
Okay. Yeah. So Natasha doesn't know the whole story, so she's like, "What's going on?"
And that's Shreta means what is it? So yeah, that's yeah.
Oh, okay. I was close.
Yeah.
And then she says, "What's this next phrase that she says?"
Bože moj. Bože moj is like my God. It's just a mild expletive. It's not rude. It's your mother would say it.
Okay. And then Lena goes into a lengthy explanation in Russian to Natasha of what happened. And then Natasha, it actually has a look of understanding, and she says something else in Russian, and the word Borya turned her head and spat, and Lena said that my husband is a pig. So yeah, she now understands, but Harry has yet to get the whole story. So they calmed her down, and then that last word, Harry says, "This is very kind of you," and she says,
it means it's nothing. Forget it.
That's nothing. I figured. And what about that last phrase she says as they are leaving?
Bolshoi spasiba is thank you very much.
Oh, okay. That Lena says. Okay. so finally, then Harry and Lena, as they exit, he finally gets the story out of her as to what the deal is with this this crazy scheme that she pulled. And so Borya has been obsessed with Harry forever. Whenever they fought, Harry's name would come up, and he would mention how she never loved him, that she was still in love with Harry. And she would remind him that he knew she didn't love him when he married her. But she's not in love with Harry. She says that she barely got to know him, that they only spent a week together and hardly spoke to one another for half of that. And then she realized, though, that it wasn't entirely true. At first, she thought that she was just sad as a result of missing her first husband, Dimitri, and not being able to stay in Canada. But as the years passed and things between her and Borya deteriorated, she realized that Borya was right. She was in love with Harry, or maybe just the idea of him, because she would fantasize about what her life would have been like if they had been able to be together. And of course, the worse her life there became, the more she idealized the life she could have had with him. So she and Borya were kind of both obsessed with Harry. That's understandable. I mean, so it does sound to me like she was in love with the idea of Harry. They didn't have enough time, or you know, a long enough, like a deep enough relationship to really be sure that it was true love, but she just clung on to it as her life got worse and worse, and she was in love with the idea of what things could have been like with him, which is a really sad thing. And then she just wanted to somehow get back to Canada, and she's been trying to find a way out for years, but she couldn't get around how trapped she was as a colonel in the GRU, running the Internet Research Agency, and no doubt all the intelligence agencies around the world, like CSIS, were aware of that. So where exactly could she even go? Would the Canadian government even let her into the country? No. She was sure she'd be arrested the moment she showed up there if she tried to go. And she thought about trying to contact Harry to see if he could help, but she didn't know how he'd react. So many years went by, and she was sure that he must have gotten married and settled down with a family by now. She couldn't believe it when she found out that he had been single all that time. He had spent most of those years alone.
Mm-hmm.
So she found out about the release of the Russian translation of his book, started sending him Shakespearean quotes via CSIS, and just hoped that he would get in touch. And then she found out he was going to be coming to the country for the book signing. And a day after she got the news about the book signing, her husband came home and showed her an article about it in the newspaper, and basically said, looks like your boyfriend is coming to town. He's in for a rude awakening when he gets here. And he said that his friends at the GRU on him, showing that he was a spy and that he was coming to St. Petersburg to sabotage the IRA. And Harry is just stunned by this. He still doesn't understand how they could have gotten this dossier. And she said she he didn't say how he got it. She doesn't know, but he said he was going to enjoy dropping him down a deep dark hole and leaving him there. So she came up with a plan. She just decided she had to do something to stop this from happening. And that, the blowback, if he did this, would be huge. The West would increase their sanctions against Russia. they've already hurt Boria, and the Canadian government would just raise hell if anything bad happened to Harry. So more sanctions would come, and this would risk a big international incident. So she came up with the idea, like, there's a much easier way to get rid of him. We just get some video of him having sex with someone, then show him the video and tell him if he doesn't leave the country immediately, we'll release the tape on the internet. Trust me, he's not going to want the people at CSIS to see that, to say nothing of his partner. So she even knew about Chantal. She knew that Harry had a girlfriend, that he was with Chantal. And they were living together, at least part-time. And so the sex tape was all her idea, but she said it was the only thing she could get her husband to agree to. It was either that or Siberia, and she couldn't let that happen. So that was her plan. It was a pretty wild Hail Mary plan, but yeah, I mean, and it's a huge violation, obviously, what happened with him. But it was better than the alternative for sure. He would have rotted in a Siberian type prison for the rest of his life, probably.
Yeah, she didn't really have a lot of options.
No. So, and he wanted to know how she pulled off the tape, because it definitely wasn't really him in the video, because he was very well endowed, more so than Harry, and Harry was out like a light. So she said it was a deep fake, she explains. And once he passed out, she called a couple of local adult film stars to take care of business. They did the dirty work. She took the video to her office and they edited it, replaced those faces with hers and his, and then stuck him back in that bed after those adult actors had just had sex in it, which is pretty gross to think about. He's like, ew. I would have that reaction too. That's nasty. That's a nasty thought. And that does explain the cigarette smoke too. That was the male actor smoking. He's a chain smoker, so he reeks of cigarettes all the time. Also gross. So they planned on using the deep fake as compromat, which is blackmail material, to have someone from the GRU present Harry with the tape, give him the option of leaving the country quietly or having his apparent infidelity released on the internet. But she didn't think it would actually go public. And but things didn't go as planned. Obviously, the nobody did come to see him and give him the option to leave. They just took him to prison. And that's where she admits that that was her fault. She's had such a miserable life with her husband, cheating on her, physically and verbally abusing her, and she, because he knew that she would never love him the way he wanted, and so things just got so toxic. She said that her anniversary gift 1 year was a dose of chlamydia. Yuck. That's terrible. What a horrible story for that poor woman. So he's just so vindictive, and she's always fantasized about how she could pay him back for all the humiliation and abuse that she's suffered. And so now she saw an opportunity when she had this plan to make this video. She decided to change the woman's face to hers, to make him jealous, to give him a taste of his own medicine. He'd been cheating on her for ages. And so she did that, and drove him crazy, of course, but she had no idea it was going to drive him that crazy. He flipped out, screaming and yelling, throwing things, punched her in the eye. She had a black eye. And he said that their deal was off. He was going to prison, and as the icing on the cake, he was going to put the video on the internet. So that definitely went south.
Yeah. Yeah, one petty act of revenge, and
yeah,
yeah.
that did not go as planned.
So in a sense, I mean, she did betray him, but completely unintentionally,
Right. Yep. And she feels terrible about it, of course. She she apologizes, and now she says she's ruined both their reputations, and they could both spend the rest of their lives in prison, all because of her dumb little act of revenge. And yeah, he then he remembers again what she said before he passed out. I can take care of the video, she said. He's like, you weren't kidding. But she doesn't even laugh. She just cries more at that. But he's glad, that at least now he's out of prison, and he can try to get a message to CSIS so they can find out what's going on, and he's convinced that they have a mole in their midst, because somebody had to have sent that dossier to Volkov or the GRU or somebody. So because that's still unexplained. Where'd they get that dossier from? So they may have a mole. He's got to let them know about that. He's got to explain about the deep fake tape. Because by now they'll have heard about it, and they'll be wondering what the hell's going on, and freaking out that he's been out of touch. So he's got to figure out how to get back in touch with them. And as luck would have it, she was smart enough to grab his stuff from his hotel room and bring it along. So she's got his computer and all of his luggage, so he can use his computer to get in touch with somebody, because he doesn't have his phone anymore. The Volkov's guys took that away.
Right.
And so he plans on calling his handler when they get back to her friend's house, and get to the Canadian visa office to do it, because it needs to be on a secure line. And so but she points out that, of course, Volkov's guys will be watching that. So he says he's got to figure out a way to get past them then. And she says that her friend Natasha may be able to help them get past that. And that's and that's where we leave that section.
Indeed.
So oh, hi Martin. Hey guys, great to see you, Doug. My work shifts have changed in the past few months, so the timing has been unfortunate that I haven't been in chat like I used to be. I still listen when I can, though. Well, it's nice to hear from you, Martin. Thanks for popping in. Sorry that you couldn't make it as much because of work, but it's always nice to see you. And I hope you're doing well. And Martin, I'll find the link to your channel too. I was dropping other people's channels links in the chat a little while ago. But anyway, so well, that was certainly a juicy section of the book.
Now, one thing I should mention, Harry has to get to the visa office so he can have like a lengthy phone call with Pete. But one thing they did set up before he came here was he's got a coded message that he can send to Pete in the clear you know, like just log on to the internet and talk to Pete, his agent, his literary agent, and say there's a problem with the translation. And then Pete knows to expect the phone call. So then Pete will get in touch with the guys at the visa office and say, this guy's coming, he needs a secure line, make sure you take care of him when he gets there. So that's why Harry plans to use his computer to get in touch with Pete, just to drop that message, so then they can head to the visa office.
Okay. Right. So, yeah, and hopefully avoid getting nabbed again and be able to get out of the country, because this guy's got such a personal vendetta. Boria Volkov has got a real personal vendetta going back many years against Harry now. So,
and he's also arguably the most powerful guy in the country now, especially since the president has died. You know, like he can pull whatever strings he needs to make their lives miserable. So yeah, now the big hump is, how the hell do we get out of the country?
Right. Yeah. It's a terrifying environment to be stuck in any time period, really. I mean, you know, before the Cold War ended, it was you know, obviously a terrible time, and it still is in modern day Russia. You don't want to be stuck there and in trouble with their authorities. So,
and it's about to get worse.
oh boy. Oh, how could it get worse?
No spoilers. I'll just tell you that much. But you know, you gotta keep the stakes up there. So yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, just almost being thrown in a Siberian prison. That's pretty bad. The threat of that is pretty bad, and having a graphic deep fake sex tape released of you is pretty horrible too. So
yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing where that's going to go next.
It has some interesting repercussions. They're very minor, but yeah, there's a little source of comedy there for sure.
I'm sure that'll be fun. See where that goes. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Martin. Subscribe to Messy Marty. That's Martin's channel, where he does gaming content, and he's doing a great job. He's killing it over there. So check out his channel. And Amy said, I love that the story is so rich.
Well, thank you, Amy.
And she said, if I were, I would find a way to escape the prison on my own.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, seriously.
You want to see what this prison, Kresty 2 prison, actually exists in St. Petersburg. And if you want to get an idea of what it looks like, just do a Google image search on it. It's pretty scary looking.
Oh God, that's a real thing.
Oh yeah,
that sounds terrifying. Just the way it's described. Kresty 2.
Huge too.
Yeah. So is that a nickname, or is that's the official name of the prison?
No, that's the name. Yeah.
Weird. Kresty Prison. Kresty 2. Yeah, see.
Well, Kresty, I think Kresty is probably a proper name. It's probably named after somebody.
Right.
I don't know about that. That's just off the top of my head, but yeah.
It says it's one of the largest prisons in the world.
It's huge.
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah, they love locking people up over there. It's horrible. Martin, no, I didn't see the Twitter post from with Julie and Ethan explaining how to survive in Fromville.
I just saw that tonight, actually. Yeah, it's kind of cute.
Oh, I'll have to take a look at that. I don't follow the social media as much as I should. I need to be paying more attention.
And Ethan is growing up too.
Yeah, I bet he shot up like crazy between seasons 2 and 3. So I can only imagine. I don't know how they're going to hide that growth. if they're going to
That's what
they
I was
won't.
saying. There, eventually, you can't get jackets big enough to hide that.
No.
Larger and
the
larger
thing is,
jackets.
Yeah.
you know, the thing is, there's been a lot of the theories about From, people have gotten really caught up in the minutiae of the place, like what happened to the motel and, where do they get toilet paper from and all that kind of stuff. And I say to them, and this is just my opinion, of course, but I look at it and I go, you guys are looking at this all the wrong way. This is not a place where the normal rules of the universe apply. Like, stuff becomes made available when they need it, or it gets taken away when the powers that be want that to happen. And things like the passage of time. I mean, they've mentioned themselves in the series how time seems to like speed up and slow down. Like this world doesn't operate the way the normal world does, so they can get away with stuff like this.
Right. I think sometimes people with mystery box series, we do tend to fixate a little too closely on minute details sometimes, and sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
Well, and the weird thing about the series is when it comes to these kinds of issues, the details aren't important, but there are lots and lots of other details that really are. So when do you need to apply that kind of microscopic scrutiny, and when don't you? It's hard to tell, I think, sometimes what the difference is.
Oh, absolutely, because they encourage you to go down rabbit holes in some cases, because there are some wild theories that turn out to be true.
Yeah.
There are some really complex plot lines like reincarnation and all of that. And Tabitha's bracelet, and it encourage you to think deeply and engage with the show and try to follow clues, but it can also you can go overboard and you don't know where to stop, and what is an important detail to hyper focus on, and what's not. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what makes it fun. It exercises our brains, and it's just enjoyable. We like dissecting it and trying to figure it out. And I hope that season 4 won't be the last one. I don't like if those episode titles are right, I don't like the sound of the final episode title. It was
What's the last one?
What a long, strange trip it's been.
Yeah, very Grateful Dead, but still, that's very Jack Bender. He's right.
Yeah.
But it's not. The thing is, it's in the present tense,
Right.
so it doesn't imply. I mean, it kind of does and doesn't imply an ending at the same time, and maybe that's by design because they don't know if there's going to be a season 5 yet, or at least I don't think they do. They didn't find out that season 4 was happening until 3 days before the final episode of season 3 was released.
True.
So, I would imagine it's probably going to be a similar timeline this time around,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So when I saw that title, I just thought, uh-oh, are they thinking this is going to be the end? Is this the series finale that we'll be looking at? I hope not. I would like to see 2 more seasons, because I think the showrunners have hinted that they would like 5 seasons, that's their goal. That's what I've heard.
What I heard all 3 of them, John and Jeff and Jack, in interviews, what they said was that they have a 5-year plan, but depending on how things go, it might evolve into a 6th or a 7th season, depending on how the storylines develop. It's really interesting going back and watching the opening episodes, because you can see story threads that were planted that they decided to discard as time went on, For example, the whole schism, excuse me, the whole schism between Colony House and town, and the choosing ceremony and all that stuff, and the difficulty between Boyd and Donna, which is very apparent in the first episode, but they do away with that almost immediately.
Right.
And my guess is just that it was like, well, we'll just put that stuff out there and see what floats, and if it doesn't, we'll just let it go,
Right.
I mean, I also heard, I don't know if this is true, but I heard somewhere that initially, I don't think Victor was intended to be a series regular. I think it was just going to be a recurring role for a few episodes, but the guy was so good. It's like, no, we got to keep this guy, you know?
Yep.
And again, Jack and Jeff and John have talked about, you know, Kenny's evolution had a lot to do with how good he was at being able to handle whatever they threw at him. You know, so
Right.
this, okay, let's make his life even worse. This kid can handle anything, you know.
Yep.
So I mean, when you realize that kind of stuff is going on, I mean, within the confines of the big story arc that they've long ago put together, there's room in there for things to develop. So yeah, it could be 5 seasons, it might be 6, it might be 7. Also depends on, you know, how well it does viewership wise as well. Although I don't think that's going to be a problem for them.
I don't think so either, because they keep on gaining steam with each season that goes by. They keep on gaining viewers and attention, more and more people covering the show. I think it's going to be more popular than ever this time around.
And critically, you know, the scores are just as high as they've always been, so that certainly doesn't hurt, you know.
Not at all. Yeah. Simon is a sweet kid. I had the privilege of getting to interview him, and he was a doll. He was an absolute doll, Amy. He was such a kind, humble, smart little kid. I was just so impressed with his mind. Very much
Didn't
like,
you say he was like a 50-year-old in a small kid body?
yes.
Like a wise old soul.
Yes, he's very much like a reverse Victor. He's like a 50-year-old in a little kid's body.
I met him actually when we shot the final episode of season 3, because he was in the makeup trailer. They were using him in a different scene that day, and so we met briefly, but chatted like for a couple of minutes. But that's the only time I saw him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a sweetheart. I really enjoyed getting to interview him, and yeah, maybe I'll get another chance for season 4. I'm gonna give it a shot. It can't hurt, you know. Having done it once before, I might be able to get a second interview with him and see how much he's shot up again, another foot taller.
Well, you'll see it in this video if you go on Instagram to the MGM page. You'll see it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've got to check back in and see what the latest word on the street is about From before we do our next From live, and we'll discuss the possible release of episode titles or leak of episode titles, or, and any other rumors going around the rumor mill and social media posts and whatnot. So we'll just have a little fun with that later in the week. So I'll let everybody know when we plan on doing that, once we figure out a night that's going to work for me and a time. And we'll do that, and we'll dive back into From, and we're going to be diving back into From with a rewatch as well. So stay tuned for that information. We just have to figure out the way we're going to approach it. We don't have a very long time in which to do it, I don't think. So we've got to kind of expedite things and get it going as quickly as possible. Do multiple episodes in one live, and see how far we can get. I think it'll be fun.
I'm actually rewatching as we speak. I'm on episode 3 of season 1 right now.
Nice. Yeah.
Working my way through it, because it's, you know, there's a lot going on in this thing, and I mean 3 seasons of that stuff. It doesn't hurt to remind yourself of the details, because I'm sure it's going to play into season 4 in a variety of ways. You know, I'd be very interested to see what season 4 looks like.
Oh, absolutely. This is a show you need to rewatch before every new season. You've got to revisit. You've got to revisit all of the details and the nuances, and just get back in that world again and remind yourself all the important plot points. And yeah, and who knows? We may be getting it in the middle of April sometime, maybe April 19th, if that date is actually accurate. So that's not very long from now. That's
3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
3 months.
Actually, 2.5 months, really.
Yeah.
I was about ready to say that's a season a month, but then Doug says it's even shorter than a season a month. We got to get cracking.
Yeah, we got to get cracking. It's past time for us to get started. So I've decided I'm just going to focus on that instead of covering a new show. Like normally I'd be doing these lives with you, Doug, and also covering a new show. And I just thought, you know what? Forget that. How often are we getting a new season of From? There isn't anything out there right now that I want to cover right now that even looks that interesting. I'd just be forcing myself to cover something just because. I'm just gonna dive into the From rewatch and let that be the focus until we get more From season 4.
Sounds like a wise plan. By the way, speaking of these lives, I think for next week, this will be a relatively short section because I think the ending of the next section should be page 270.
Okay.
So we're only looking at like, what is that, 42 pages, something like that. But it's really like if I pick anything later than that, it's going to be right in the middle of a scene. It's the only sort of coda that I could find that seems like an appropriate place to stop. And then that leaves us, I think, 56 pages for the last section. So,
Well, that's all right. That works for me. We can do that. We can do that. So up to page 270.
yeah, just look for the asterisks.
Okay. So we'll do that. Are you free next week to do that one?
Yeah, we could do, well, at the moment, I don't have anything. So it could be Wednesday or Thursday, whatever works for you.
Okay.
Wednesday, Doug? I'm starting a new live on Thursdays for School Spirits, a TV show. So maybe Wednesday.
So let's aim for Wednesday then.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
And if we could start at 10, just because I'm an hour ahead of you guys, it would be helpful.
Okay.
I'm at your time, Doug.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna make it happen this time. 10 o'clock.
All right. I would appreciate that.
Next Wednesday, 10 p.m.
Say 9:30. Like this say 9:30, and then I'll start at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I'll schedule it for 9:30 and then it'll be 10.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for showing up. And yeah, next week ought to be fun. Things get really interesting in the next little section. So,
well, looking forward.
Things have already gotten interesting.
Well, more of same. That's all I'll say. All right. Take care, everybody. I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Doug. Take care. Good night.
Bye for now.
Well, okay. Well, I don't know how it could get more interesting or worse for Harry than it already has been, but that should be interesting. Looking forward to that. And I need to figure out when I can best fit in these From rewatch lives, and also just squeeze in a quick live to just discuss season 4 and potential release of the episode titles. I really want to do a live to talk about that. So we need to do that. I'll get in touch with you via DM and we'll figure that out. I've just been I've been really still struggling. I just when I think I maybe I start to turn a corner and I feel a little bit better, the next day I'm just on my knees again. So it's just bad. This is like just the winter that will never end, and it's caused. I think it's responsible for causing a lot of spiking pain for me.
Yeah, it's definitely a more serious winter than it's been in a long time. If Michigan's any correlation with Iowa, which it kind of is. We don't have winters like this normally. We have a lot of mild winters, and then we get hit by something bigger. And you just happen to move and you got hit by something bigger.
Yeah, that's what I've been told, because there was somebody I was just talking to who's lived here for years. She said that the last few, she's lived here for several years, and the last few winters were all pretty much what she was used to, where she used to live in New York, and now this winter is way worse, way colder. Lucky me, just in time for me.
Oh wait, Why I gotta fire up my goat. My goat's frozen. It's doing that now. It sounds like a goat alarm.
It does.
I have to change the batteries. Oh, poor guy.
Oh no. What's wrong with the screaming goat?
I mean, how the rest of them work? It's just a screamer. I don't know. That's even better. Your goat alarm. Imagine that waking me up in the morning and also it's like, oh wait, hold on.
Maybe that's something that can actually wake me when nothing else will. Because it's not easy to wake me up. It's next to impossible. A train could come through here and I'd still be asleep if I'm really out. That's funny. That sounds just like an alarm. The screaming goat is the best one too.
I know it is. I don't want it to die. I don't want it to be not a battery issue and then it's just like that now. Okay, that's coming back. Oh, I did it again. Never mind. Oh well.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll get better with a battery change or something.
I don't know.
Yeah, Amy, probably a tornado too. A tornado could blow through here, and I'd still be knocked out of sleep.
I've seen like what I call snow. Can't even say the word. Snow nados coming around because the winds are so sharp. They're blowing snow around like a tornado.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, absolutely. And apparently sometimes there are tornadoes out here, but it's not that common. So that's kind of scary though. I've never lived anywhere that had real tornadoes.
Those are fun when you get a tornado warning and you guys seek shelter. Those are always good.
Oh,
good times.
There were a couple in Rhode Island the last few years, and that was really unusual for us. I think it's climate change causing it. And it was really scary. The first one, I was convinced it was going to come through the house. I was so scared.
Yeah.
It ended up just plowing down some trees a few miles away, but that could have easily been us. It could have hit. We just got lucky.
Yeah, there's a tornado alley where one of my friends used to live in Indiana, where on one side of the road all the buildings were good. On the other side, it had pulled up a couple factories. It's like completely, no more factory anymore.
It's so arbitrary where it decides to hit.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. They scare me, man. I liked living in California because I didn't have to worry about them so much. I had to worry about earthquakes, but I could deal with earthquakes. Can't talk right now. But not tornadoes.
Yeah. Earthquakes I've never had to deal with, and I don't think I could handle that either.
Yeah.
But Martin sounds like you deep sleep like Elgin. That time he doesn't budge in the tarot card scene. Yeah.
Oh, he's tired.
He was always sleeping. He's sleeping all the time, all through the season. The problem was that he was struggling to sleep ever since that kimono lady almost drowned him in his dream, and so then he kept trying to nap all the time. I forgot about that. Yeah, it's definitely time for the rewatch. Get our heads back in Fromville. So we will figure out a schedule for that and get that going. And I wish we had started it sooner. I do wish we had started a few months ago so we could just do it the usual way, one episode at a time, because I can't do really long lives anymore. I've got to wrap up. I'm getting ready to wrap up now, and it's only 2 hours, 24 minutes.
Yeah. Amateurs.
Yeah, this is amateur hour.
Yeah, but I think the thing is that we could run really kind of quickly till like episode 5 of season 2, and then kind of slow down a little bit. We could like run real fast and then slow, if you wanted.
Yeah, we
I
probably.
mean, I messaged you all different ways. We could do 2 at a time, then 3, and then like leave the finale just, if you want to talk at the finale and just leave that as one thing. I mean, there's so many ways we could do it.
Right. Yeah, because we already dissected the hell out of season 1 and the first half of
Yeah,
season
the first
2.
half of season 2, yeah.
So, we can go back through some of that again, the major points, the major things we pointed out, and then of course I can put the links to those specific live replays so people can go back and look at them for more detail. I'll do that. It'll probably have to be something like that, and then hone in a little more on the rest of season 2 and season 3. Yeah. It's yeah. I
We
like
should do that when we start live. Just put on the goat alarm.
Yeah.
Wake up.
It's I looked at the calendar and I was like, what the hell? Oh my God, how did this happen? It's I just can't I have no concept of time. I live in a time warp. I had no idea like how little time there really is until the middle of April, if that's when we're actually getting season 4 of From.
So that's correct. Might not be correct.
It might not be.
It could have been a graphic placeholder that they just had until they knew for sure. Because it wasn't only there for like a day and then it was gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Who knows?
So it's gone now? That's
what I heard. I'm not a social media person, so I don't know exactly, but I heard it was like it came and then it went. So,
maybe somebody posted it by mistake and then they were told to get it off there because it
could be this like a placeholder that was revealed when they weren't completely sure. The 19th might be the day, but until they reveal it, it would just be a graphic that just stayed put until they revealed it, but they probably revealed it too early, or somebody just went, look. Who knows? Yeah, or just for funsies. Maybe it's just a funsies to get the From community all like frazzled and ready to go.
It could be because somebody's
the cages.
So, somebody's going to find that information inevitably, and then everyone's going to go freak out about it. Someone may have released it when they weren't supposed to, and then they got in trouble and it took it down. Who knows? But I mean, people kept saying that we should expect to get a trailer by the end of January. Well, it's now officially January 30th and there's no trailer, so I don't know. I wouldn't be too confident in what the rumor mill is saying. I don't know where people even get these rumors from.
Yeah. I feel like the 19th of April is pretty early, but
Well, there's one argument in favor of that. I heard that they have to release the whole season before a certain date in order to qualify for Emmy Award nominations.
Yeah.
So if they release it then they'll be able to get it all out in time to be nominated. Not that they'll be nominated anyway, so what's the point?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
They never get nominated for Emmys anyway.
Yeah, it'll just be the studio who gets nominated and wins a bunch.
Yeah.
Or White Lotus. White Lotus always seems to clean up. Even though it won't even be the same year, there won't even be a White Lotus, but White Lotus will just take a bunch of awards.
Right.
Like, wait, there wasn't even a White Lotus this year. Oh, who cares? White Lotus, yay.
Yep. Hey, I just thought of something. Wasn't Netflix acquiring or in the process of acquiring potentially MGM?
Oh boy, yeah, that whole business.
I
don't know if anything came with that.
That would be terrible. Imagine if that happened, they'd swallow up MGM Plus and From would be done for. I've said all along, if From were on Netflix, it wouldn't have made it past season 1. They canceled all the good mystery box series.
Yeah,
And
I think that's why Yellow Jackets is ending on the 4th season, because I think the showrunners are just hedging their bets that with all this buying up of different things, they might not be able to do a season 5 on their terms, you know?
wow.
So that's what you got to do. I mean, you're a showrunner, you can be like, I can wrap it up a season early, because everybody has that 5-season projection usually, you know? Or just do it the way you want, or do a season 4 that just ends, and then Paramount or whatever is like, sorry, canceled, or we're bought by somebody else that doesn't want the show.
Or Netflix could, if they bought MGM, they could let From have 5 seasons, but then destroy it with second screen syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say. Netflix is like, can you write this real stupid? So people can be on 5 devices at once and still know what's going on. Can you have every character explain what they're doing? Like, I'm going here. I'm picking up this bottle of whiskey. I'm opening it up. And Tom's like, I've been polishing this glass forever. And,
Yeah. Yeah, and here's our plan. Okay, this is you, Boyd, and this is this is Kotri, and you guys are both like doing this and that, like pick up the nearest object, and that's a stand-in for the person, and over and over and over again for everything. Like explain all the plans ad nauseum, and have everyone finish each other's sentences. And
oh yeah, like the Stranger Things when they're all in a room and they're explaining a plan, and they're finishing each other's sentences like it's Mission Impossible or something. That's what we need. And From.
Oh yeah. That's what we need to happen to From. Oh my god. Netflix would fucking ruin that show.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they would. If they wouldn't even allow it to continue after season 4.
But, yeah, I think they would just axe it. They would kill it.
It hasn't won any awards like White Lotus or Studio, so
yeah. But as long as MGM is its own entity, it's the flagship show of MGM Plus, so it's safe. So yeah, I don't even want to think about what could happen if oh god, Netflix would kill the best show, my favorite show on TV.
Well, that's why I'm doing School Spirits. I'm doing a recap of School Spirits because I really like that show, and it's on Paramount Plus.
Right.
And the only reason I even got to watch that show is that me and Jamie interviewed Jen from Yellow Jackets, and she was in School Spirits. So,
Right.
Because I always do a little bit of, watching what the actress or actor did before, so I have an idea,
Right. That's cool. Yeah.
But it's cool. It's like a murder mystery. Like the first season was like a murder mystery. The second season was like Twin Peaks. And this one's supposed to be like Stephen King. So each season has its own kind of feel, I guess.
Oh, it sounds like a cool concept.
Yeah. Ghosts in a high school.
Nice. You're starting that next week?
Yeah, we're starting it on Sunday. And that's going to be on Thursdays. That's why I can't really do anything on Thursday. I just want to put that out there.
Okay.
So, yeah, and we'll have watch parties, but let's just like you would say with time, we were gonna have watch parties. We're gonna there are only 8 episodes a season. We'll have a watch party. We'll see season 1 and season 2. It didn't happen, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh
well. Yeah. Well. Good luck with that. I'm sure that'll be fun. And so the first one is on Sunday at what time on Sci-Fi Vision?
On Sci-Fi Vision at 10 or 11. I'm gonna say Jamie wants 11, but our other co-hosts would probably want 10 because she also teaches. So we're both teachers, so I want to go sleep.
Okay.
But then on Thursdays it'll be like 11 o'clock because it'll be a watch party. Okay, I have to also explain this, and this is something I don't like. It released the first 3 episodes at once.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah.
Because I found out even with Stranger Things, I cannot watch 2 episodes, more than 2 episodes, or I start falling asleep. I can take about a movie's worth, and then I'm just kind of out. And I'm like, why did shows do this? Because Only Murders in the Building did this. I mean, there are episodes, that season's 8 episodes long, and by next week, half of it's going to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So the way we're doing it is episodes 1 and 2, and then episodes 3 and 4.
Okay.
And everything after that's one episode a week. But I wish they wouldn't release 3 at once. It's too much.
Yeah, that sucks. I hate when
I
shows
mean,
do
maybe
that.
2. Like Yellow Jackets released 2, but they were kind of bookmarked each other, and it kind of had a reason for ending it the way they did with 2. I can get 2. You know, you debut, you want 2, you want a big bang, but 3 is too much.
That's way too much.
It's
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah.
You don't get to, especially with mystery shows, you don't get enough time to figure out what's going on, or make a theory, or make observations.
Right. Yeah, I hate that. You need time to really just digest each episode. I like to focus on one at a time. So.
Pixie asked what School Spirits is about. The short story is this girl wakes up in a high school. They're having like a pep rally, but you find out that she's actually not alive anymore. And she can see a ghost. She's with this other guy, and she finds out this guy's a ghost, and this whole high school has had a bunch of mysterious deaths throughout the decades. So there's like a beatnik ghost that has died in the 60s. There's a kind of like a, I would say kind of like a rocker guy from the 70s. There's a kind of football hero from the 80s. There's like one kid from the 90s. They're all from different decades, and they passed away, but they're all in the high school. And they're going to help her figure out who killed her because she's dead. And so they try to solve her own murder kind of Scooby-Doo style in the first season.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next season has its own story. Almost watching the third season, you wouldn't have to recap that much from the previous seasons to get what's going on in the third.
Okay.
They're kind of like their own stories that end, but they have the same characters.
Right.
So you can just basically do a little recap and say, this ended on season 1 with this, and now this is happening. And people could follow like the Twin Peaks like season and say, okay, that's what's happening now. And then with the third one, it's the same.
Okay.
But you can watch all of it. I mean, you can watch all of it. You can watch the third season, then go back and watch the other ones. I mean, I find it's very well acted. It's got a lot of Yellow Jackets connections because Jen from Yellow Jackets is in it. Adult Travis from Yellow Jackets is in it. The woman, Ann Warwicker does the music for Yellow Jackets, but she also does the music for School Spirits. So I feel like it still has that vibe. It still has kind of like the same kind of feel, the mood is there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I started watching it just on a whim because we were interviewing Jen from Yellow Jackets, and then I was like, I'm going to sit down and watch a couple episodes, and then I ended up watching half the season because I was really intrigued. Because it's a really good whodunit. It's like it kept my interest. Like, you know, they thought it was this person, they investigated, but no, it was this person. And then you find out all this kind of dirt, all the dirty laundry that all these, like, you know, kids and teachers and stuff have.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I
There's a little romance too. I mean, for people like romance and shipping, a lot of people ship a lot of the characters and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I like a good whodunit and you know, murder mysteries. So sounds like something I would like.
I guess the season's supposed to be a little bit more Stephen King, which I don't know. I just think it's mood, but there is a scene on the bus that's kind of graphic and it reminds me of a Stephen King thing, including creepy kids. Somebody I would call Smiley Juniors on the bus, like this girl that just has a smile on her face, and it's like,
yeah.
She's like a creepy baton girl, like she has a baton, and it's like,
Well, no, I definitely want to check it out. Hey,
we'll have watch parties if you want to drop in and just watch a bit of one and see if you like the feel, you know.
Yeah, I'll see when they're going on and try and check it out. Hey, third shift lurker, nice to see you. They said, I love School Spirits, great show with many twists.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah. Come to our watch parties. Come to our lives.
Martin says the From Rewatch. Oh, and I dropped the link to Sci-Fi Vision channel where Jamie and Scarlet and one of their other co-hosts. Jen will be covering School Spirits. So the link is right there in the chat.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Martin said the From Rewatch streams were that good. They got so many people theorizing that we had to start doing From Academy, maybe swap From Academy back to rewatches and a deep dive after. Yeah, we've gotta try to do the rewatch again. And From Academy, that's on hold. That's something that is not happening for the time being. Maybe sometime again in the future it will. And I hope Doc is doing okay, and we miss him. I sure do. But Doc's got a lot on his plate right now, and so for now, I guess the silver lining is now we have no excuse but to finally get on the rewatch. And so with that emptiness in the schedule there, and the fact that I'm not going to cover any other shows right now, hopefully we can cram in a really satisfying rewatch in the time that we have left before season 4. So we're definitely going to be doing that, Martin, as best we can. I wish we could really scrutinize every episode to the degree we did back then, but I think the ones that we already covered, we'll just do a kind of shorter version of it, and then go over the main points and ideas we came up with for each episode that we already did rewatches on, see what everybody else is thinking. At some point I want to start doing rewatch parties in the Discord too. Just have to figure out a night for that.
Sorry, I was checking it. Sorry. I thought I had far enough away from the microphone, but I heard you laughing, so
it's okay.
I'm not coming back to full speed. I don't know what it is.
Well, hopefully it rehabilitates for next time.
I hope so.
So yeah, if people are interested from rewatch parties, I know some other Discords are doing them too, but I'd kind of like to do my own in my Discord, and if people feel like watching it there, we could do some watch parties and start some rewatch lives within the next week, and have some fun with it. I wish we could do the crazy in-depth ones we did before, where it was a lot of hours of really dissecting the hell out of it. But
where we found without a doubt that Ethan is the man in yellow.
Yeah, we found a lot of evidence pointing to Ethan being the future man in yellow.
Yeah. But now people are just going to re-listen to those.
Yep, they're gonna have to go back and listen to those super deep dives. These will be a bit more like normal length deep dives, because I'm in way too much pain, sadly, to do lives that are as long.
It'll never be normal, though.
It'll never
really be outstanding.
It'll never really be normal with us. It'll just be shorter in length.
Because this goat stuff normal?
Yeah, not at all.
I almost kind of like it better this way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually growing on me. Hey, AA, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. Julie, will you be covering the Camp Crystal Lake series? The release date is 2026, but no month or day yet. Kind of like how Welcome to Derry was last year. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, I hated that. I that drove me nuts how they didn't give us like an actual month and a day for Welcome to Derry for the longest time. I haven't heard anything actually about Camp Crystal Lake series, but now that you've put it on my radar, I will look it up and see what that looks like.
I haven't heard of it either.
Oh,
I don't even know what channel it's on. What channel? What streaming service is on?
It's It does. Let's see. It doesn't say here. I just Googled it, but it does say that it's about the fictional cursed summer camp from the Friday the 13th horror franchise, primarily filmed at the real life Boy Scout camp Novi Bosco, what the hell, in Blairstown, New Jersey, known as the home of Jason Voorhees and his mother Pamela. Oh wow, that's cool. So it's connected to the Friday the 13th franchise. That sounds awesome. Well, yeah, that's right up my alley. I'd like to cover that. Just please, God, oh, don't let them release it till after From is over. I don't want anything
Yeah, because
distracting.
then had that overlap. Because then that when they had like the Severance Yellow Jackets overlap, it was a little bit too much because it came out the same day. It's like spread
Yeah,
those things out.
yeah, yeah. Everything got all jumbled up for me the last few months because Welcome to Derry came out.
Yeah.
Then while I was covering that, Pluribus came out. I wound up liking that more. I
Yeah.
still like Welcome to Derry, but I liked Pluribus more, and I wasn't
Yeah.
physically up to covering both shows in at the level of depth that I like to cover shows. I don't just do a cursory look at whatever show I'm covering. It's a deep dive. It's always a deep dive.
Yes.
So it's like, I didn't even mean for it to be like that when I started the channel. I named the channel what I named it, but I didn't mean for everything to be such a, you know, it's such a deep dive. And I don't know. I guess that's just all I know how to do. I can't do short coverage of anything. I can't do
You can't do big toe in the pool, circling around, feeling if it's warm enough, kind of thing.
No, I can't. I don't do concise. Anybody who knows me.
Yeah, I heard the ideal thing for the algorithm is 10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, I've heard
But
similar.
who cares about that?
Yeah, who cares? I went from, my average was probably like around the time of From season 3, it was like 30 something minutes, and sometimes 40 something minutes per video.
Yeah.
And then eventually it got more down, closer to the upper 20s, but still deep dives.
Yeah.
And the live streams always extremely long and breaking down every detail of a show. And I don't know how to do anything halfway. So that's why I struggle to cover more than one show at a time at that level. So that I wound up dropping Welcome to Derry and just focusing on Pluribus. And then I really wanted to cover Fallout, but it wound up not working out. It overlapped too much with Stranger Things. Then Stranger Things overlapped with Pluribus, and I had to cover that, and it was just too much.
Which was kind of upsetting about Fallout, because Fallout became week to week.
Yeah.
And last time the whole season was released at once, and I was like excited that it was week to week because that's the best way to cover something.
Yeah. So it seemed
but
like
that was not meant to be.
It wasn't meant to be. It seemed like a perfect way to finally get to cover it, but it wasn't meant to be. And to be perfectly honest, now that we're nearing the end of season 2, the further we've gotten into it, the less I like the show. I don't like it as much anymore. It's too graphic for me. It's too gory. It's too dark. I know I say that as somebody who covers horror, and From is a very dark show, obviously. It's the type of darkness I don't like. I don't like torture. I don't like...
Yeah.
And I mean, so quick killings, fine. I can deal with shows where people die quickly and it's over. But just people being tortured and suffering, a major character on Fallout getting crucified.
Getting stuck through. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
She survives, but she's fucking crucified, and then another character gets skewered for an entire episode. It's too much. I don't like it.
It's video game violence for you, though.
It sure is. So I think, it wound up not being my flavor anyway. So it worked out the way it needed to.
See, we can probably get Julie to watch Yellow Jackets once From is done.
Yeah.
We'll deal with From first because they said that there's going to be the 4th season is going to come out at the end of 2026. I do not believe this.
Okay.
All the
Yeah.
other years of Yellow Jackets have taken a long time, so we at least have to the end of the year. Because I wouldn't want to, let's just focus on From.
Yeah, we need to focus on From right now. No distractions.
Though I do love Yellow Jackets, but I don't feel like it's horror in the way other people see horror. It has some folk horror elements because folk horror is my favorite genre of horror, but it has a lot of dark comedy. It's funny. I have to have a lot of funny with like horror elements for me to, to totally be into it.
Yeah. Some humor.
Mm-hmm. Some good actors too. You need some good actors. Throw some good actors in there.
Right. Yeah, AA, it's gonna I know I keep saying like later, but we gotta get through From before I can attack Yellow Jackets.
It's cool that you remember she watched the first 2 episodes. She watched the first 2 and then up to the 3rd because I wanted you to watch the opening sequence.
Right. And then that was that.
Yeah, because it didn't have a title. They didn't have a title sequence until the 3rd episode. I don't know why, but.
And yeah, I'm at a point in my life where the thing that triggered me before is irrelevant now. So
yes, indeed.
So
we can unfurl the gates of Yellow Jackets for you.
Yeah. So it'll. I'm ready to do it. Mentally, it's just that for now I've got to focus on From for the next few months.
But I'm feeling From will get done, and like if it says it starts when it starts, it's like July, and then we have July to whenever, if they're like going to release Yellow Jackets in like December 2026, there's time between July and December. So,
right. Yeah, there's time.
There's time.
There'll be time. For now, I've got to focus on doing the rewatch lives for From and rewatch parties for From. As soon as we get a trailer for From, we'll start doing regular theory lives to talk about that. We know we're going to want to dissect the hell out of the trailer once we get one. So we'll be doing regular lives for that. So that's a separate thing. So we'll have the rewatch lives. We'll have the season 4 lives, getting ready for season 4, that is. And that'll be discussing the trailer for however long, it'll probably be going over the trailer for a couple months until the show comes out. So that'll be taking up all my time when it comes to the channel, and I'm going to want to make some videos. So that'll also take up time. I'm going to want to make some theory and prediction videos and drop them in the next few months. In fact, I need to get on that right away. I need to get on that so that when the trailer comes out, I have some stuff to drop while it's trending. So yeah, it may not seem like it because I'm not covering a current show, but I've got my work cut out for me with that and managing my pain right now, which is getting to be more and more unmanageable. I'm afraid. I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. I just looking back at what I was doing with the channel a year ago and what I was able to juggle and how much joy these lives brought me for hours and hours at a time. And now I'm barely able to focus. It's hard to get joy out of something when the pain is so bad you can hardly focus on what you're even talking about. And I keep like losing my train of thought and having to like find it again, and I don't feel like I'm on my game, and it's depressing, and I can't do it as long because I have to get up and walk more frequently, and even then it's not working. The walks are not managing my pain like they had been, but if I don't do it, the pain is even worse, so I'm screwed either way. It's brutal. The cold is brutal. The cold seems to be making it worse. I hope it's the cold. I swear I hope it's the cold, because if the spring comes and I don't start feeling an improvement, I'm going to really be scared that it's just my mysterious pain condition progressing and becoming
Yeah, but
more.
then you like we're all trying to get you to Arizona.
Yeah.
We need to get you somewhere dry if that happens in the spring.
Yeah. I hope that it's the climate situation because
Yeah.
there's something we can do about that. We don't have to stay here forever. We can leave. I mean, we can't like leave right away. It's gonna
Yeah.
it would take time, but
Mhm.
we can leave. So I really hope it's not gonna be a fix. I'm not gonna go somewhere else and just magically be okay, but
Mhm.
I do think maybe it could make me feel somewhat better if I lived somewhere warmer and drier in the future. And in the spring, maybe I'll feel a little bit better. A few months ago, I was visiting Iowa and I felt a lot better than this. And it was warm. It was August and September. It was warm and the weather was nice. So I hope that it gets better. I don't wanna have to wind up
Yeah.
giving up my channel a year from now because I've gotten so much worse that I can't even function, enough to
Yeah,
do.
you gotta also understand this winter is very like not typical
Yeah.
as well. Because I just hitting my boyfriend really hard too, and normally he goes for walks with me when it's 10 degrees outside, but it's been hitting him real hard.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like in his shoulders or his arm, or he's
Okay.
just real cold. Like he comes home and he just can't get warm again because he's so cold, you know?
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
it's supposedly the cold does exacerbate pain symptoms. It
Yeah.
constricts blood vessels and,
Mhm.
so it makes nerve pain and muscle pain worse. I have both of those things.
Yeah.
So, I I hope that it's that, and maybe in a
Mhm.
couple months, I might have better quality of life. I'm also looking into different kinds of medical care,
Yeah.
doing what I can out here. It's a very slow, agonizing, frustrating process trying to get
Mhm.
adequate medical care, especially out here without a lot of options
Yeah.
around,
Uh-huh.
remote area and all.
Yeah.
Um, I can't, it's hard. I just want it to move faster. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Um, but doing what I can and not gonna give up. Even if I wind up having to do shallow dive 1 hour live, so
Yeah. Kiddie
I'm
pool.
yeah, I'm not gonna just
Julie
stop.
B's kiddie pool.
Yeah,
Everyone get in the kiddie pool, everyone.
yeah. I'm not gonna just give it up. I hope I never have to, because I do still get at least some enjoyment out of this.
Yeah.
It's it's still a passion, and it's I still love the whole community and everybody I've connected with through here. I don't want to lose that. I want to grow the channel more. I want to reach that 2K sub mark that has been so elusive. Um, but it's going to be a challenge. Covering season 4 of From is going to be a much bigger challenge than season 3 was, with my pain being so much worse. So I can only hope the spring will make it easier, and we'll see. But I'm going to do what I can. And you know, the lives are not always going to be as predictable. I might have to postpone them, reschedule them, and I'm sorry for all the inconvenience of that and the confusion about it. But I'm not gonna give up and disappear. I'll keep trying and showing up however I can. Even if it's randomly without much notice, it's better than nothing at all. Even if it's less time, it's better than nothing.
Mhm.
So, um, hey, yeah, thanks. I appreciate that you're so interested and you want me to see that show so badly and cover it, and I will definitely get to it. I promise. Hey, I'm delivering on something else that no one ever thought I'd finally get to, which is I'm getting close to the finish line of finishing Lost right now.
Ah. That's
Getting
what I thought
close.
you were gonna say.
Getting close. I've been watching more episodes, so It won't be long now. I just finished, I think, episode 10 of season 6, and there are only 19 episodes. So I've got nine episodes left, and I will finally be done. So I'm a late bloomer. It may take me forever to actually get certain things done, but I finally get them done in time. And once I finish Lost, I've had some people suggest that I do a live discussing Lost versus From, and I think that would be fun. So we'll see. If I finish Lost and I'm not totally fucking confused and don't know what the hell's going on, then I'll do a live. So I don't want to come on here and sound like an idiot. Like I don't know what the hell I just watched. Sorry. We'll see if I feel like I have something good to contribute, something to contribute to the conversation on Lost versus From, then we'll do a live once I finish it, and it looks like that's going to be relatively soon. So yeah. Thanks, AA. And the reason I'm so eager for you to watch Yellow Jackets is because I know how much you'll love it, and I also love theorizing with you guys. It will be so much fun. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I covered it on Sci-Fi Vision if you want to re-look over those episodes or the interviews. I don't know if you looked at the interviews we did with Jenna and Gila. But
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking of coming up with some videos on my own. I've got like probably at least 3 or 4 theory videos, because kind of Lori wanted to do one with me for her channel, you know, as it gets closer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to say what those are. You'll have to tune in to find out.
Oh, awesome. Very cool. Well, yeah, keep us posted.
This is mostly fun stuff, like I was going to call them, like, you know, pointless theories, because I don't think they're going to have an answer, but they're just the theories I've had from rewatching Yellow Jackets. Some shocking, some not so shocking.
Right.
I'll back up with evidence.
Nice. Yeah, AA said it's like no one goes as deep as us over here in this community. Yeah, we go pretty deep, that's for sure. Well, I appreciate the kind words. Thank you. Yeah, just give me time and patience. I know it takes a lot of patience with me, but my Losty friends have had to have a lot of patience with me on finishing Lost, and I'm gonna get there soon. I'm finally gonna get there. Martin said, as long as you believe they are alive on the island, then you're on board. There's so much to talk about, but how crazy was it that Locke got played for a sucker that whole time? Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. And just watching Ben get broken down, just to go from one of the best villains I've ever seen to being such a broken man, just an average Joe broken man now. It's been a really wild ride to watch these characters, and what Locke has turned into in season 6 is pretty interesting. It's brilliant what they did with it. It's really brilliant. I'm enjoying it. I'm going with the flow, even when it's frustrating for me as someone who wants to understand everything I'm seeing on screen, and like so much shit is happening that doesn't make any sense. I'm just learning to make sense later. Just take it as it comes. That's what I've had to learn with that show. Patience. Lots of patience. And rewatching stuff when I forget the million details from the giant cast of characters and what the hell's going on with all of them. But it's an amazing show. I'm enjoying getting to the end. I just watched the episode that's the origin story of Richard, which is pretty fascinating, and one of the most popular episodes, because Richard is the guy who never ages on the island. So that was a fun one to see where he came from. And I mean, wow, they went all out. I mean, they showed how the slave ship wound up on the island too. and they showed how the statue got broken. It's so cool. I'm looking forward to the smoke monster and Jacob origin story. Yeah, I know that's coming. So I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen the origin story of Jacob and the smoke monster yet. So I'm psyched about that one. But anyway, I've gone on longer than I intended, but it's just nice to be back. You know, we haven't done a lot of lives in a while, and I miss talking to you guys and just checking in. It's nice to have a distraction like this now and then from my pain situation. Yeah, it was brilliant, right, Martin? Yeah, Locke is just amazing in his new role that he plays in season 6. I don't want to throw out too many spoilers in a stream that's not about Lost. Just in case, it's an old show, but people didn't spoil it for me by saying all kinds of crazy spoilers when I hadn't seen the whole thing. So I won't do that.
Yeah, I don't like when people do that because they're like, oh, it's a 20-year-old show or whatever. But I mean, a lot of people don't see it. I mean, younger people don't see some things, like Twin Peaks. It's like, well, I'm spoiling this show that came out in 1989. Well, some people haven't seen it. Maybe they want it spoiled.
Yeah, there are younger generations who discover older shows all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the magic of streaming,
Yeah.
So I don't want to spoil it for anybody. So eventually I'll probably do a spoiler stream where we just, we can go all out. We can say whatever spoilers we want about Lost, and there'll be a spoiler warning right in the title. So we'll do it that way. Anyway, well, this has been fun. Thank you to the chat for showing up and having another fun conversation with us. And thanks again to Doug for being here. Thank you, Scarlet, as always, for being here.
You're welcome, Julie. I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
I hope that something, perhaps the rites of spring will come and you'll feel, like a meadow maiden, I guess.
I hope so.
Reborn anew.
Yeah, God, I hope so. Seriously, I feel like I need a miracle at this point. Well, I just got a shiny new medical plan that it turns out I qualified for all along, and I've been robbed of like $3,000 for the last year and a half because some idiot enrolled me in a medical plan that and they gave me wrong information, and they basically charged me $200 a month in premiums and like big fat deductibles, and it wound up to be I calculated how much it was over $3,000 I got ripped off of because they didn't tell me I qualified for this other program that will now give me zero copays. I won't have to pay for anything except $73 a year in medication costs. I couldn't believe it when I found that out. You got kidding me.
I overpaid medical bills, and now they just pay me in $30 to $5 checks every once in a while. They're slowly refunding me, but like $30 at a time.
Well, that sucks. Yeah.
Or $300 at a time. It's like, I don't know when I'm gonna get the rest of it. They said they refund me like 10 years from now. I don't know.
Yeah, that sucks. Oh.
I think I got 1,500 of it back, and it's been a year and a half. It's like,
yeah, that sucks. I wish I could get the money back that they took from me. Some idiot just didn't tell me that I qualified for these other programs. In fact, they explicitly told me I don't. They said, no, I can't enroll in these other programs. And it turned out they were wrong the whole time. And it was a government employee that didn't know what they were talking about. So
it's too bad you can't retrograde that, because mine I could retrograde a bit, so it counted, because they were supposed to put me on it but didn't, and I had evidence of that. So I know we'll pay you back. Now, when they pay you back will be a whole other story,
right.
or how much. It's $3 a month or something. Like, I got a $3 check. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? I guess I'll just drive it to the bank. That's fine. Bank's like a mile from where I work, so just I'll wave in front of everybody's faces about, like, what a big cheese I am for having this check.
Right. Well, thank you, Martin. Said I really hope that miracle happens. God, I hope so. And thanks, Amy. I hope everything looks up from here. That's crazy. They enrolled in a bad plan. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's phone them up. Let's phone them up and do this.
Yeah. Yeah. The good news is I figured it out now. I figured it out, and so I'll have a little more money now than I did before, month to month, and I can try to get medical care that won't cost me a fortune. So that's something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I think health insurance is just a big scam anyway. I mean, we should even have health insurance. We should just be able to go pay our doctors. And in other countries, like in Italy, somebody goes and has a baby and everything, and it ends up being like $200 American.
Mm-hmm.
They had a hospital stay. They stayed all, 3 or 4 days. Not only that, but they have like 5 weeks of vacation, right? And compared with us, it's just like, how much would that be, for American stay? Too much.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a total ripoff. The whole system is broken.
Yeah. I mean, we're one of the first world countries that doesn't have, like, I think it was us in South Africa that have really bad health plans compared to, I don't know, all the other countries in the world.
Right. Right.
It's like, it's ridiculous. I mean, why do you have to have insurance? You should be able to just go to a doctor, and it should be a fair cost to pay for things.
Yeah.
People shouldn't have to go bankrupt to be healthy.
Well, 100% agreed. It should
Ridiculous.
it should be like Canada. Canada has a great healthcare system, and it's all free.
Yeah.
Doug talks about it all the time.
I'm sure when the apocalypse comes, when we all go to Doug Hughes' condo to live.
Right?
Which is my
seriously.
We all have to flee. I mean, that's why I live in Michigan. It's real close to Canada, so I can flee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I'll even bring a maple syrup bottle with me, so I can prove that I'm one of them.
I wish it were that simple. If I could, I would just pick up and move the hell to Canada right now.
Well, Canada's colder than Iowa, though.
Well,
cold.
I mean, yeah, it's so I thought, but I mean, Doug, the way he describes the weather in Toronto, it was very much the same as Rhode Island. They often have the same weather systems, kind of occupying the same space, oddly enough.
Wow. One time I was in Ontario in October, and it was the coldest I'd ever been in a long while.
Really?
It was really windy around Lake Ontario.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
I feel it's just comparable to Michigan, really.
I'm sure.
But that's South Canada. That's not like the Yukon or, way up in the northern territories.
Right. Yeah, most of Canada, I think, is brutally cold, but like maybe Toronto is just an exception, because the way Doug describes it, it's like that's no big deal.
Vancouver's kind of that way too on the West Coast. It's kind of weird. It's
a
little bit more temperate. That's probably why the vast majority of Canadians live in those two cities.
Probably, yeah. Nobody wants to live in the frozen tundra.
Yeah, nobody wants to live in what's it like, Medicine Hat,
right?
Moose Jaw.
Yeah.
I love Canada. I love all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, Canada. God,
I
I
just live
envy.
there. I'll just go live in the middle, like just wander in there, and then make a little cabin in the woods in the Canadian Rockies, if you know what I mean. If you know,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Promise I won't partake in like cannibalism. Maybe.
Okay. Well,
Be peaceful.
yeah, it could be. It could be. Um. Anyway, or it could be like that season of Slasher. There was this show Slasher where every season takes place in somewhere different, and it's filmed all in Canada, and there was this remote summer camp. It was a former summer camp that you know this group of people, this bunch of hippies go have a retreat at in the middle of the winter, and then they start getting killed off one by one.
Uh,
Yeah, it doesn't look very pleasant, that part of Canada either.
where where did you see that show? What streaming service was that on?
The first 3 seasons were produced by for Netflix.
Oh, okay.
And then like seasons 4 and 5 I think were taken over by Amazon Prime or something.
Ooh, maybe I'll
So
look it up and see if it's on there.
yeah, look up Slasher. It's a fun show. It varies by season depending on how, like the quality of it. It's not always even like any anthology series. You're gonna have seasons that you like better than others, but I really enjoyed that one, and it had a great psychological twist, which I won't give away, of course, but it had a really great Alfred Hitchcock kind of psychological twist that I was not expecting. I think that might have been season 2, I want to say. It's probably still on Netflix. Anyway,
I looked up a show. I can't remember the title of it now because I will never see it. But I thought it said it was on Amazon Prime, and when I looked it up, it said Amazon Prime in Canada, but Hulu in the U.S.
Oh, okay.
Why?
That's confusing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to seek it out, but I forgot the title of it because I thought, well, I'll never see that. And, tucked it back.
Right.
It was something comparable to School Spirits. Like they're like, if you like School Spirits, you'll like this show. But yeah.
Right.
Oh well.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. You gotta get out of here.
Yeah, I gotta go do something. I don't know what.
Yeah, go do something.
I'm in too much pain to walk, but I'm in too much pain to lay down at the same time. So I don't know.
But do you have a treadmill? You can't do the treadmill?
I'm in too much pain to even use the treadmill.
No, God.
I don't know what to do. Like normally, it would be time to use the treadmill, but now the pain is like the wrong kind of pain for the treadmill. It's hard to explain.
Can you do any exercises of sitting down? Like any kind of stretching that would help, or any kind of movement?
Sometimes like if I really am not up to doing anything, I'll just like kind of try to improvise some stretches, just laying in bed. For lack of any other idea what to do. And take some medication and hope it takes the edge off, and that's it. This is the problem right now. Normally I'd be like, okay, I've been resting too long. I'm getting stiff and tight in certain areas, and then I'm going to go walk, and then that relieves that kind of pain for a while. Then it causes another pain, but that other pain makes it easier to rest. It's hard to explain, but the other kind of pain is like an easier pain to rest with once I'm done walking. And then I rest for a while, and it's like back and forth. But now it's like both kinds of pain are coinciding. The resting pain and the walking pain, or neither one of them's going away like they're supposed to. And so it's like I'm screwed no matter what I do. Rest, walk. I've still got both kinds of pain right now, and they're not getting better. So I'm like, now what do I do? I'm screwed. I'll figure something out. I'll have to push through a walk somehow. It's the only thing I can think of to do, even though my legs are on fire right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, Well, I hope everyone has a good rest of your night, and I will announce via a YouTube community post and Discord when we're going to do our upcoming From lives talking about season 4, possible episode titles, and of course the rewatch. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure your notifications are turned on, and of course next week we'll also be back with Story Time with Doug on Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern for the next installment of the book club live, and hope to see you guys then. But we'll be back before then. We'll definitely be back with a From live between now and then. I promise. I'm gonna make it happen this time for real. Even if it kills me, I'm gonna do it. Anyway, have a good day or good night, everybody. Good night, Scarlet. Good night, chat.
Night, Julie.
And we'll see you next time.
Goat says good night to you.
Good night, goats.
Oh God, I'm scared. I was like, I gotta fix you, goat. I'm sorry. Poor goat, I'll put you back in the corral.
Yep. Good night,
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. That's a theory creaking open, baby.
Yo, welcome to the screen where the plot gets bent. Julie B deep dives, not just for content. She don't react, she dissects those threads from the lens. Catching clues y'all missed when the credits end. What you know about freeze framing frames and while you blinking, she building an evidence drum. Got a notebook thicker than the lore itself. In a chat full of nerds with a mental health shelf. Yeah, she sees the glitch, peep the double cross. You just watching TV, she talk to the boss. Every theory and thesis, no throwaway guess. While y'all on season 1, she in season X. Said rewind and slow it, zoom in, enhance. Julie B caught the symbol in the window glance. While you tweeting what just happened like a clown, she already made a flow chart, color-coded breakdown.
They don't die like us, they don't vibe like us. They binge and they bounce, we revive that trust. They skip intros, we every frame. You watch shows, we decode the game. They don't die like us, nah, they don't die like us.
She cracked Severance before y'all knew it was deep. Predicted the Last of Us deaths in her sleep. When the camera pans, she ain't blinking once. Catch a ghost in the glass, call it theory punch. Watch parties lit like apocalypse nights. Call-ins while they bringing alien rights.
Hey Julie, I think the trees are spies. Well, I have a spreadsheet that confirms that, guys.
Zoom in, boom in, she moving through clues. Spinning Discord in the courtrooms, Lord of views. Got mods with receipts. Time stands with heat. Every rewatch turns into a Reddit elite. You stuck on the surface, we beneath with maps. Cross-referencing lore with the rector's caps. If your fave show got secrets, don't be dumb. Julie got the chalkboard out in From's where it's from.
They don't dive like us, they don't vibe like us. They skim the edge, we inside that crust. They zone out, we zone in the pain. You say plot twist, we say nope, chain. They don't dive like us, nah, they don't dive like us. What's that?
That ain't a blooper, that's a plot thread. You thought it was a shadow? She thought it was a coded message from season 3. And she's probably right. Step this way if your mind's unbent. Step that way if your theories pay rent. Say Julie B, deep dive queen. Now zoom, scroll, theorize, pull. Ain't no rabbit hole safe once she got the cloud.
They don't